Welcome to another Squad Games podcast. I'm your host, Dakota. My other host, Giacomo, down below, and our longtime tier list homie and helper and guest, Orion.
Yeah, no, that's not how it's going this time. I'm the host. I'm the host of
you're
this
the host.
podcast. You guys.
He's the host? Whoa!
I'm hijacking this thing. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Squad Games podcast, aka Jimmy Kelly's favorite podcast. You guys haven't listened before. We talk about everything squad related and game related. I'm joined today by my competitors, Dakota and Giacomo. They are currently competing for me not to leak their social security number. What do we got for us, guys? Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hello. I'm obligated to say it at the cost of losing my identity.
Your social security number, absolutely.
One of you is getting a point for that. I'm not going to say which.
Fair. All right. He's just giving himself points. Okay. Before Orion takes us over completely, we got to sell something. We do have an event coming up on August 9th and 10th, MidSummer Mayhem. It's an awesome event. It is our birthday. We're going to have balloons. We're going to have party hats. And we're going to be giving a bunch of extra stuff away. We are giving away 2 golden tickets to the Warhammer Invitational World Championships of Warhammer in Atlanta. We're also giving away 3 free golden tickets. I guess not free. I guess they're not golden tickets. They're free tickets to the Las Vegas Open, to Best Sportsmanship, first and second place, and to Triple Threat. So that's sportsmanship, hobby, and placement. LVO is not only the biggest and most competitive event in the world, but it is also the place where you will find the coolest people that you will ever play. So we are talking about tier lists, right, Orion?
Yes. Very astute for you to remember that. Yes. I invited you on. I know I wasn't very specific. But yeah, today we're going over tier lists. Some of you may be confused, and good. So what's happening today? We're going to go over our tier list normal style, but there's going to be a little bit of a twist. Dakota and Giacomo here are going to be trying to figure out where they put teams on the tier list, while simultaneously I have a tier list on the side. And because I'm just the best kill team player ever, I obviously know exactly which...
I mean, you won an event with Gellerpox.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I am the best. No one can dispute that. I've never lost. And if I did lose, it didn't happen. You're mistaken.
Fair.
So I have a tier list, which is 100% correct. It is absolute authority. Don't at me at that. And they're going to be trying to guess as close as they can to my personal vibes tier list.
Okay.
The winner will not get their information leaked online.
Fair.
I like that.
And maybe look at the podcast back. Maybe.
So before we jump into it, I wanted to... Orion, is it okay if I show the people our last tier list, right? And then compare them to if we got things correct or not?
Yep. You guys can take the wheel for now. I'm just going to be taking notes, and one of you is going to be real sad at the end.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. One of us will have our identity leaked. Okay. So first things up, we have our last tier list here, our last time's tier list. We had Sanctifiers. So how we ranked these things were S, A, B, C, and D. S tier was 55% win rate and up. That was our guess. A tier was between 55 and 50. B tier was between 45 and 40. 50 and 45. C tier was between 45 and 40, and D tier was anything below 40. Now, we did stray a little bit. We did have a guest, Alex Popov, on, and he used his hot take to put Exaction Squad in S tier. And none of us could say no, because that's what the hot take is. It happens at the very end of the episode. And yeah, they didn't make 55%. Sorry, Alex. You were wrong.
He had a garbage take, Alex. It was garbage.
He did it for the memes. He did it for the memes. As an internal joke here at Squad Games, because we've had some good times with Exaction. Now, this was a very fun tier list, and we got a lot wrong, right? I would say objectively, we got tons and tons wrong. I would say that for, I guess, how I'm going to rake these teams, Giacomo's, I'm also going to rate, if I think a team can win a lot of events, I'll also put an S tier for this upcoming one. Giacomo, what is your metric? What are you thinking about doing before I reveal the actual win rates?
So I'm thinking kind of something similar. Like if you can take them and at least place in like whatever the top percentage would be. Usually top 3 is most common. But if it's a big enough tournament, then top 8, because then at least that's a team you had like the chance, right? Because usually when you're at like that top bracket, it's really just like a minor point or something, a dice roll that really just ends your run, and your opponent wins because you're both just as good as each other. And usually, I mean, obviously sometimes there's teams that just blow everyone out of the water, and there's nothing you can do, which is not a good sign for the game. But I don't think we fully have that. We have our own issues, but I don't think that's one of the major ones. So that's how I'm going to look at it. As long as you can play and take them decently far and potentially win with them, I think it's worth taking.
Okay. I also have another thing, Giacomo, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have another slide for us all to view. And this slide is who's won the most amount of tournaments from this past data slate. I think it's very fascinating, and it's definitely going to help me in my future endeavor. Giacomo, I hope it helps you. And Orion has already made his tier list, and for all we know, it's backwards because his vibes is upside down. He's never lost before. So we both could score 0 points and have both of our social securities leaked online. Fantastic.
That is true. I will say currently there are some points on the board. I'm not going to say for what.
Right. For himself.
For real. He knows me so well.
So this was last time, right? Specifically, I'll just name off some of the top and some of the bottom. We had Sanctifiers, Plague Marines, Brood Brothers, and Exaction Squad. And in fact, only Sanctifiers is in the top S rank. And then in the D list, I don't even think Hunterclade made it. I think it was just Breachers in D. So we only got 1 in D. We got 1 in S. I'm looking currently at A tier. I think we got Goremongers wrong. I guess let's find out. So this was the actual one. No, this is not the right one. That's the one. Sorry, everyone. Whoops. So we have what just okay, we're back. We're good. So we have Hierotek Circle with 55% win rate. The high is a 56.75% win rate. Now all of our data is driven from David from Squad Games. He collects all the data and puts it in for the data slate between 16 players and 4 rounds. So at minimum 16 players, 4 rounds. Hierotek Circle had the highest win rate, then Sanctifiers, then Blades of Khaine, surprisingly, then Gellerpox, literally just because of Orion.
I was going to say, that seems like a loaded stat.
Oh.
There was 16 games played with Gellerpox, this thing with a 56% win rate. Orion probably had all the wins.
Wow. Hey, Melty was right. They have played.
Hey, but here's the thing. If it's just Orion playing the team, they're probably still an S tier.
Yeah, because that means you could take the tools and make them S tier,
Yeah. Well, Orion can. No one else is playing them.
Nobody wants to. I don't get it.
Melty,
I don't know why I'm splashing in the pool all alone.
This is directly for you. Play it.
Then it's WarpCoven, right? And then between 55 and 50, Chaos Cult was closest at a 54 or 52.5, with Void Dancers just barely making it in. And then you had Nemesis Claw at a nice, healthy 49%, and Hunterclade at the bottom of that tier with a 45. Almost perfect. Yeah.
How many games did they have played, though? I'm curious.
I'm not sure. If they only had, I think 33 games. For Hunterclade, not very many, but they had one tournament. I think they had 1 tournament win. We'll find out shortly. Finally, in C tier, there's Plague Marines with a 44.5% win rate, which is crazy. We had them in S tier. Now, I do think Plague Marines are really strong, but it almost feels like they're more of a gatekeeping team. And maybe the main Plague Marine players like Orion stopped playing them and started playing Gellerpox instead, thus leading to a lower win rate. But they did have 600 games. Even if Orion mained them at all of his events, it wouldn't really have changed the metrics very much. We do have Mandrakes, Yegirs, Inquisition, AOD at a at a 41% win rate, and they got nerfed into the ground. We have Corsairs, Salvagers, and Deathcore. Deathcore just barely making it at a literal 40% on the dot. We have Vespids, Starstriders, Scouts, Hand of the Archon, Fellgor, Kasrkin, Rattlings, Kommandos, Farstalkers, and Breachers in that order. I think Breachers had a 16% win rate. I think they had like 22 games and they won 2. And they had an average score of 7.9 points a game. Yeah, they were not doing very well, to say the least. For tournament wins, Giacomo, Hierotek Circle has the most with 7, tied with Sanctifiers also with 7, and this is out of 63 events. We had Phobos with 7 and Aquilons with 7.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy, right? The next closest tier was 4 wins in this data slate, right? We had WarpCoven, Goremongers, and Legionary, right? And then only with 2, we had Blades of Khaine, Brood Brothers. And that's interesting is Blades of Khaine had like the 3rd highest win rate, but only 2 tournament wins. Nemesis Claw, Plague Marines, Angels of Death, Starstriders, right? And in C tier, we have Gellerpox with 1. Orion. Thank you, Orion. Good job.
So really they're in D tier.
You won once.
Really? Correct. If it wasn't for you, Orion, they would have an awful win rate and be in D tier. But because you exist, they are.
I love math.
They are awesome, right? And then we have in D tier, Breachers, Farstalker, literally the rest of the teams. In fact, there's so many teams in D tier, I literally couldn't fit them all. There's still like Chaos Colts, and like 3 other teams that I could not fit in D tier because there's so many teams who could not win an event. This is interesting, right? Like Blooded have a 50-something% win rate. Let's see here. Blooded have like a 52% win rate and have never won an event.
Which is fine. I mean, tournament wins aren't the end of the world, you know. Like only one person can win at the end of the day. And
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And that's an important thing to keep in mind. True. I did not put the placing percentages in here because they're all over the place. But Giacomo, hopefully I have gave you a little bit insight. If you want to look at them and reference, be like, hey, how did Aquilons do? You know, because I'm not gonna lie, I've been to a couple events and Aquilons they've been cooking. They've been cooking pretty hard.
Kind of. I think I was surprised for a while, and then someone explained how it worked, and it kind of all clicked. Like, oh, that makes sense.
How does it make sense, Giacomo? Make it make sense to me.
Yeah, make it make sense for you.
It's the little tokens moving through things and getting people off guard. Those little things throw them off.
Well, what's interesting is a lot of people have been asking me lately, like, can Aquilons drop through into the dark walls? Like if you put one and then within 3 inches, can they drop to the other side? The answer is no, because you can't measure through and into the dark wall, right? Like you can place your marker on the other side of one that can be measured because it specifically says, but you cannot place one and then drop a model because you can't measure through into the dark walls. If the door is open, then sure.
Right.
But yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting stuff. Let me go into studio mode so that I don't, make people go crazy with this. So Orion, how do you want to start us off, man?
Oh, do I just get to pick a team and just chuck it on there?
Yeah, that could work. I would, if I was smart, I would say that I would have loved to, if I was smart, I would have 100% saved my last format so I don't have to like go through and re-chapterize all the teams for YouTube because it takes like an hour.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not the world we live in, is it?
No, it's not.
Nope.
I'm here to please Orion. That's all I'm here for.
Yeah, man, I might just put negative points on for that. I don't know.
Good.
No, I'll be gracious on that one.
He'll be generous.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, you two are going to have to go first, just so I can reveal my personal vibes tier list one. That way, nobody can choose their answer midway through.
Okay, that's fair.
But I will just, pick a team, I suppose, and we can just start talking about them if that's what you want to get into.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it so that this thing. One second.
Just like mashing it.
I'm trying to make it so that people. This is not going great for Dakota. Dakota's having a hard time. It's going to be what it is. It's going to be what it is, everyone. All right. Giacomo, do you want to start off with White Dwarf and Annual? Because I think that's where we should start. I think we should just start from the bottom and kind of go from there. Void Dancers.
Sounds good to me. Okay. Void Dancers. Let's see. With the current changes to the game,
they did not get a nerf,
which wasn't too much. Yeah, exactly. Which wasn't really like a lot for them at all. I think they're still gonna fall into that that B tier. I think that's still a pretty good place for them. They still kind of like forget some rules, because that's their team. But maybe just not enough smashing power to make it through at the end of the day.
I think for me,
that's what I think. What about you?
I think they're going to go into A tier, 100%. I think with the fall of Elites,
All right.
the fall of Nemesis Claw was their nemesis. The fall of Nemesis. Thank you. It's a dad joke. The fall of Nemesis Claw and all those kinds of guys, I think that this team is definitely going to rise in the ranks. I think we're going to see them be a lot more popular, and they also don't like WarpCoven. WarpCoven didn't. We still might see WarpCoven running amok. I personally
counterpoint to your thing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going A tier for Harlequins. How do we break ties, Orion? Did we need a third
Don't worry,
person?
I got you on that. Don't worry. Oh. If there's ties, I got it.
So before we get to the next team, my counterpoint is the teams that probably still give them trouble. Like Angels of Death definitely took the hit. Obviously, Dueler's gone, so they're not getting those abilities. But Phobos can still strike twice with a guy that does 4 damage, so he can do 8 damage and kill somebody. Nemesis Claw, you can't use, or 8 inches now gets rid of in Midnight Clad, but they have 7 inches of movement anyways. They were going to get close enough to shoot with their the fusion blasters anyways, so that doesn't really change too much. And those are probably the teams that still give them a lot of trouble. And they're not really nerfed to the point where they're gone, right? That's what I'm thinking. I think only Angels of Death really was taken out.
I think Nemesis Claw is cooked. You don't think Nemesis Claw is cooked?
Obviously, I'm salty that you can't get you can't save your
points. Really?
Your prescience points anymore. I'm salty that you can't save them anymore. Okay. But you still let's say you take your Skin Thief, right? He reduces damage and he hits on 4, so he gets 2 hits, you're gone. And Void Dancers are so squishy, it doesn't matter. And again, in Midnight Clad, doesn't really matter if it went to 8 inches. Yeah, it kind of sucks, and you can turn him off a little easier. But if you're a decent player, you're going to hide anyway, so that your opponent isn't going to be able to see you as often, right? That's what I think. I still think, although this is definitely a nerf, it's not enough that it turns off Void Dancer, makes them beat them, right? So their prey is still out there. But Angels of Death is absolutely one of their prey that is a little more gone, because you do want to kind of deflect. But even then, still 4 or 5 damage chainswords are still, I still don't want to deal with that.
I'm
like as that because 4-6 damage power swords is just all right. It's not going to kill the Space Marine fast enough, and you can still double shoot and double tap some guys. Like, it's all still possible. I don't think their predators are killed enough or neutered enough. I still think they're going to just fall back a little bit.
So my counterpoint to your counterpoint, Giacomo, right? Counter. Reveal my trap card. I think Nemesis Claw is going to be extremely less popular, so they're going to be seen way less in the meta. You're probably going to see the rise of a lot of elf teams, and this is one of the best elf teams, right? I don't know of any other team, maybe other than Blades of Khaine, that can really just and even Blades sometimes have a problem with them. They're also pretty good into hordes. I mean, Goremongers do kind of suck. I mean, I'm still going with A. I just think that a lot of their main teams that they're going to see are going to become a lot less popular, which will make them just innately better. All right, Orion, how do we break ties?
Well, there's no ties because I have it in a different...
We're going to rock, paper, scissors?
No, there's no tie here, because whichever one of you gets the closest to my ranking gets the point.
Oh.
So one of you is closest, and that would be Dakota, because I'm putting them in S tier.
Whoa! What? Why?
Yeah. So again, they hadn't received any nerfs, and I think a lot of the elite play is going to go down. What's going to replace the elite players? A lot of them are like the horde, like eight wound and up teams, and I think Harlequins deal with those really well because a lot of those teams have pieces that they can't afford to just get charged, double tapped in melee, and then ran away and melted pistol.
Sometimes they can just kill you and then just shoot another guy. I literally, Charlotte, she came to my house and fought against me, and she tabled me at the beginning, by the beginning at Turning Point 3, just because she was being nice.
Disclaimer: you were playing
pre-nerfed
Deathcore, so
yeah, but still,
that was not really a team that could do anything to them. You gave her target practice. If she went against Angels of Death with Dueler at that time, she would have had a problem.
Right, but that's not. I don't think the meta we're walking into currently. I think
it doesn't have this anymore. But I still think you have like WarpCoven who can split and have a bunch more guys with those bodies. That's not going to go away. I still don't think Nemesis Claw is nearly as hit. Obviously, prescience matters a lot because you get your command points and stuff. But it's a swingy team. If you work well, you're still going to be fine. And I still think Phobos can do it.
Yeah, I think Harlequins. I mean, I don't disagree with the S tier, but I think we got to put them in A tier then. Yeah.
Yep.
I can live with that. Yeah.
Sorry, Giacomo. Take that.
That's fine. I'm just giving you my thought process.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's like we asked for.
You got to have thought process. If you don't have a thought to it, what's the point of grading something, right?
Yeah. We got WarpCoven up next.
Ooh.
Right.
All right. This one's easy, right?
Yeah, it's S tier.
Yeah. There's literally no arguments.
Do we want to go over why for people who are watching at least?
I guess that's true. We should be nice about it.
Baby's first tier list, I guess.
They
every tier list.
They're the only elite team that can go up to like, hey, we're going to have 9 bodies instead.
11.
And they're still 11 bodies, and they're still going to be very good. They can, like warp in between horde and elite. They have some crazy powers, which did not really get turned off. Like some got a little hurt, but it's not really. This is still
their melee got nerfed, just like every elite melee. But like I didn't see, like I saw Jeshua playing in the finals of a 7-round event, and Jeshua wasn't shooting anything. Like they are still monsters in melee, but they can be, their sorcerers can be just as devastating from shooting. You can kind of change they're way too good at everything. Just like Sanctifiers, that they shouldn't be affected by this nerf, in my opinion.
The 2-up armor save is a wonderful thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will still see this nerf come into play more. Like you will see them fail some dice occasionally, and like at a point where they've already used Fate itself.
Yeah,
you will see them start to slip, and this will make things more achievable for them, especially if you get a sorcerer in melee, because sorcerers do. They're not.
So what you're saying is Void Dancers are better into them. That's what
they would be, yeah, because there's the less attack dice. There's less reliability for them to actually do what they want to do. But they're still going to be a very good team with a very flexible roster that can handle any meta, right? And they have the backbone to support whichever list they choose.
So do we both get a point?
Yes, you both get a point.
Nice.
Hooray.
Take that, Giacomo. I might be winning. Except
we don't know about that bonus point from earlier.
You're not wrong. There could be multiple bonus points.
Oh yeah, he could just be writing them down. He's just doodling the whole time.
Drawing Nurgle butts.
Awful gracious. I think I was drawing the backhand of the Nurgle.
We have Hunterclade up next. Hunterclade were already at like a 45% win rate. They won one event. They got a relatively decent sized buff to make them actually playable. They do make my brain hurt. But they do tickle that itch for some people, I think that the buff is relatively large. So I would be willing to put them in they could go up to A tier, but I'm probably going to keep them in B tier.
I was going to play it safe. Opinion. Yeah, that feels right. Yeah.
So where are we going?
B tier for Hunterclade.
Both of you?
Unfortunately. Wait. Okay.
Unfortunately?
I will put it in. I'm going to be spicy. I'm not going to just be like, oh, we're both going to take points. We've done too many Hobby Highlander episodes like that. I'm going to go A. You know, see who's gonna get the right point here. You know, Orion put him in D tier, and so and who knows? I'll go A. Orion, where are we putting him?
We're putting him in B tier. That's where I would go.
Oh, you were right there. You were on the money.
Right there. You could have had it all, and you decided to throw it away.
Damn it.
It's okay.
That's how much she.
His point. Yeah, no, this team's very versatile now. Being able to expand the roster in different ways just further helps what this team already excels at. You know, I think it's like the extra Sicarian, and then the no damage from their firefight ploy, which lets them do a lot more.
Yeah, now that they don't take damage anymore, it's great.
Yeah, I think it guarantees stun for one of their gunners as well, which is really cool, with no drawbacks. So I think this team is going to have definitely some abilities to potentially do well in events with this change. I think they're good. I think they'll be solid.
All right. We got Wyrmblade up next.
I don't think anything really affected them in the most recent data slate, right?
I think they're going to be the exact same where they have been. They've been sitting at a 48% win rate for the past since the edition released. I'm going to put them right back in B tier personally. You know, they have not changed for me. I think they're a very decent team, you know, and just that's my guess. Giacomo, do you want to get spicy with it, or are you just keeping them
because of what you said earlier, even though I kind of argued against it. If you guys truly believe that elites are going to be leaving, at least more players will be playing less elites, then something that Wyrmblade would have to deal with now is kind of gone, and so they may see a little bit more of a win rate increase because of this.
Okay.
So I could see them pushing into A.
So aren't they a better team against elites?
I think they're worse.
Yeah, I haven't played too much against them. I just figured
out here they typically struggle into Space Marines just plainly and purely, like when they are played. Especially last edition. I think there's only one player out here that plays them regularly, and I haven't seen them at the past two events. So it's hard to know for this edition how well Wyrmblade is, because I don't play filthy Xenos filth, you know?
Whoa.
You like Tyranids?
I do. I like Raveners. Raveners eat these guys literally, and they sacrifice themselves to the Raveners. Okay.
Radical.
Yeah.
So I think I put him in A personally, because I think that's the case.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I have them in B tier. So yeah,
in B tier.
I think they remain unchanged for the most part.
Okay.
They'll probably fall below that just because I don't think there's a lot of players. But in a perfect situation where everyone's playing all the teams equally, I think you probably see them in a B tier.
I can probably pull up the statistics here. Give me 1 second, just to see how many people played them in the last data slate.
Ooh, curious.
Yeah, well, I will move them over, and we will talk about Gellerpox next. When I move these, that's kind of like my cue of when to make a chapter for YouTube, so that kind of helps.
There you go.
So Wyrmblade had, looks like 51 total games. Not very many. They're a very, very unpopular faction.
That could be due to the difficulty to get.
Agreed. And and some factions are like 600 games. So, okay, Gellerpox is up next. I mean, here's the thing, Giacomo. Now we have to guess. If we put them in S tier, if we put them in S tier, a lot of people are going to start playing them. People on Reddit are going to lose their mind.
We'll get at least 10% of the audience will believe that it's the right choice.
Yeah.
You may be the right choice. I mean,
let's see. And because this is an Orion list and there's a little bit of skewing, I feel like you'd want to say it's an S tier.
Now I have put them in D tier before,
but you have. But look at what you've been playing recently, right? So like you got to just take the mind into account. But I'm gonna stand firm and put him in A, for no other reason than just to go against the grain.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Do you have a real reason why you'd put him somewhere?
I'm going to put him in S tier. I'm not going to lie. I'm going hard. I think Orion is going to still pilot these guys. He's going to win all of Nova. He's going to win Worlds. He's not going to stop. The Geller King won't stop. And then people will start to play them again and tank their win rate. But I'm going S tier for Gellerpox, you know? I don't know how he does it, but he does.
That seems to be the common denominator. I'm unsure myself how I do it. I think I just roll up and then black out, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I won. Hey. They are in A tier for me. They are not the most oppressive thing in the world, as much as I'd love them to be. And I did consider putting them just on vibes straight up in S tier, but I knew Dakota was going to try to game the system there. Yeah. So I was like, I'll put them somewhere normal.
Damn it.
Giacomo gets the point on that one.
We've been neck and neck, though. We're going back and forth.
Damn you and your stinky ways. We have Starstriders up next.
Where
did Starstriders? I think I can pull up their win rate from last.
Yeah, they were lower, weren't they?
Starstriders were at in minus sub 40. I've always thought Starstriders are awful, but they have won one event. Just as many, didn't they?
No, they were D.
Are they D?
Yeah, they're in the. We don't exist here because they couldn't fit him on the pattern.
You're not wrong. No. They've won 2, Jock.
Oh, what the hell? I'm totally wrong.
Yeah.
All right. They had 2 wins.
They've won 2 events, right? But they have a sub 40% win rate. That means there's just 2 Giga Chad dudes out there running around playing them. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think they're very good. If you can lose to pure Deathcore melee, just like Hearthkin Salvagers, you belong in D tier. If you can just lose to a melee horde team that's not that good at melee, you deserve to lose. You deserve to be in D tier.
I think D tier is the right choice because one of their big thing was to use this giant cannon that turned off elites, just blasting them. And again, if we believe that elites aren't going to be nearly as present, then that doesn't really do anything. It's really cool that you absolutely obliterated a 7-wounded model, or even a 6 one if you kill a ratling. That does nothing. Okay, good job. You would have died to a swift breeze.
Yeah, there are people out there that are going to be able to play this team really well, right? There are people out. The elite nerf is also going to help Starstriders, but the reason why I don't think Starstriders deserve to be any higher is that they have a win rate in the 30s, and I just don't think that every other faction who didn't get touched that's played against them is going to get worse against them. I don't think that personally, and also the dog is the best model. So
is one of the coolest dogs they have.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It is pretty
okay. Now, Orion, where are you putting the Starstriders?
So you both went D tier?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I do have them in a little bit higher. I have them in C tier, but I honestly, you guys kind of convinced me a little bit more that maybe they should be in D tier. Again, I think there could be players. I think there could be players that would take the team a little higher. But yeah, I just haven't seen enough from them this edition to really warrant anything higher than C tier. C tier is being generous, I think, for them.
Yeah, they belong in D tier for only some people are good at them. I know Kenny Roll Crit's pretty good with this team. He's played them at quite a few events, but you definitely don't even see him playing them.
Yeah, they've moved on.
Next up is Deathcore. They had an exact 40% win rate. Now the question is, do the nerfs to the upper teams help them stay in the C tier just barely, or does the other rise of other hordes hurt them more enough so now they drop 0.01% and go into D tier? This is difficult.
Can they beat Raveners?
I painted this beautiful model that I don't know. I do think Deathcore are decent right now. I just hate the way, with a burning passion, the way that they play. I don't believe in invisible lines. The 39th parallel shouldn't exist. I don't think that the 39th parallel should be in every single kill team game. I'm just not a fan. I'm gonna put them in. I think they'll for me. Okay, Giacomo, I've been given the first. How about you? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. How about this? Since I kind of went first on every single one of the first row, you got to go first.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Octarius.
Okay, so Deathcore. Let's see. What were their weaknesses? Pretty much anything that shoots them, because a lot of the rules kind of rely on them being
7
close.
wounds.
It's their 7 wounds, right? So like
Harlequins.
Anything kind of just starts shooting at them. They have a 5-up save, right? Like, okay, if they get seen, they'd probably die. So that didn't really. They do kill stuff pretty good. Like, I'm not going to lie. Hand axes are still strong.
We saw the Wreka, which will come out to YouTube very soon.
Yes. So things are always possible, right? Nothing's impossible. But I don't think this team. I'm not expecting anybody to realistically want to take them. Like, you wouldn't take this to Worlds, probably. And that's you wouldn't take this to Worlds now. Besides, unless you made like a dope ass display, you wouldn't take this to Worlds.
That's fair.
There'd be no real reason to do it.
I totally agree.
So I think they're better than some of the team. I think they're better than Starstriders, though. I'm gonna put them in C.
I'm gonna say C as well. I think that their win rate will raise by 0.5, and they will sit at like 40.5. I don't think they're gonna get worse. None of their bad matchups really like got worse for them, other than maybe Breachers. Breachers have always been a problem for them, but yeah, I think they'll be fine.
I think that's fair. It's safe.
Yeah,
I would agree, gentlemen. C tier is right where I got them. I think they're
nice.
They're strictly mid.
They're very mid.
I mean, realistically, I think I'm playing more C tier teams than I am B, A, or S.
Well, aren't we all these days?
We all are. Because every team that you play is always C tier, and it always deserves a buff.
Yes, fair.
Ooh, it's Kommandos time. Okay, let's see. Kommandos. They can still do the thing where they move. They can charge from conceal. They can still do that.
They're so unpopular. They're a very unpopular team. Well,
do you think it's fatigue?
No, I don't think it's fatigue. I just think it's bad, so we don't see them at events. But I think they're still a very popular team for like just normal players at home and just like for funsies. I think they're still a very fun team to play, Kommandos. But I don't think Kommandos is like, let's see here. Kommandos had 126 games, so twice as many games as Wyrmblade, which is still not a ton. But they had a 29% win rate. So that means they won 30 of the 100, right? No, 40 of the 123 games.
Let's see. In the current realm of a 10-11 model team, with one guy exploding and doing nothing, and the other guy just swinging around, not really doing that much besides scoring the objectives, with a 5-up save, the decent melee. I think they're a little better now because they hit kind of like elites. Obviously less dice, but they hit like elites.
Do they raise 15 percentage points for winning?
Oh no, 15%. I don't know if they can do 15. Maybe like 3 or 4. So I still think they're gonna fall into like.
Dude, they got worse from last data slate. They're at a 35% win rate last time, and they dropped 6 percentage points. But
with nothing changing, right?
Right, yeah, with them nothing getting an up, or even the core rules really benefiting them that much.
I think it was just the release of Raveners, Clade, Sanctifiers, and Goremongers just put them on their butt.
Right, because I'm thinking like they don't really do anything where they would retain a dice and get to manipulate it. That comes to mind. So I still think they're going to fall in D.
Yep, I totally agree.
Pushing through. Yeah,
I'll keep Kommandos straight in D tier. S tier for fun, S tier for coolness, D tier for this particular
competition.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're trying to win, that is. If you're going for just because you like the team, play the team. You're going to have a better time playing a team than having a team you don't know.
Having fun is always the best. So even if you like Starstriders and you think they're the coolest, still play them. Yeah. What do you think, Orion?
I would agree, gentlemen. I would say D tier. The team has run all out of gas. Everybody knows their tricks. They haven't gotten nearly enough support from like last edition to this edition.
You mean you can't sneaky get 3 models anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Right. They're kind of old game plan of just being, hold the brutal, extra cunning. Hasn't really worked out in this edition. And what they have has just kind of almost, I feel like this is one of the teams that is fully like guilty of power creep, where their rules aren't nearly as like vivid and like interesting. And
Agreed.
as such, they're just so easy to play around.
And I think their squigs can't blow up through the Volca's doors and stuff like that too. So it's just like, that's a fault because of, Wreka's kind of squigs too. So,
which, I mean, that's whatever. Like if that's what was making the team S tier or D tier, I mean, so be it. But I don't think that's the case.
Maybe they should get another 3 squigs.
Nah, they need more teeth.
More teeth, more choppas. More
just another wound. I'm just kidding.
The Angel's a Wog and just combine Wrekas and Kommandos together.
I like that. I like that. Put them all in Space Marine armor. That would be a sick team, though.
That'd be pretty sick, actually. Yeah,
it would be. Pathfinders. Pathfinders are up next.
They got to change. So that little grab.
Jocko, if you ever want to see the where they were placed before, win percentage wise, just let me know and I'll pull it up.
Nah, because I feel like I'd be cheating. I'll use it if I really am unsure. If I'm really unsure.
I'm literally cheating,
Okay, that's true. It's true. Okay, so they're kind of in the middle.
Yep.
In B here, which like feels right because I've
47.
To not sound like a complainer, but like they've always had a really strong gun. 4 or 5 damage on their basic weapon is pretty strong. Marker lights are decent right now. The change to the drones is nice, and especially to the grav inhibitor drone. Well, no, that was a bit of a nerf, wasn't it?
Yeah, the grab drone was a nerf.
It was a nerf.
I think we put it as a buff, and we got it wrong just because we had no idea.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because the grab, instead, it doesn't force you to also have to do the other thing in addition, which was like a problem before. Nerf, right? Yeah, but before it would like really stop you from moving. So with that change, I still think they're going to fall in B. I don't think it's going to change them that much. The recon drone is still pretty good. Their weapons are still pretty good. Marker lights are still pretty good. I'm going to go with B.
I'm going to say A tier for Pathfinders. I think they're still really good, and I think that why use the drone like that? I mean, I just think that their buffs, I mean, their nerfs were just kind of meh, like there weren't really anything. Like they still do tons of damage in melee. Sorry, shooting. Goodness gracious, that's way wrong. They do not.
They get the one shooting melee thing.
True.
But
I still think they're really strong with all the elites going down. That's kind of like some of their stepping stones outside of Fellgor and stuff like that. They still might run into problems because melee hordes are going to be a lot more active now that Dueler's been nerfed. But we have to remember, there's been a lot of comments of people saying like, "Oh, you guys, Dueler's toxic for the game. Dueler this, Dueler that." Well, there's a bunch of other teams who have double parry, right? Like, are you telling me that Exaction Squad shield guys are all toxic for the game, and anyone with a shield that's ever been released is toxic for the game? Like that doesn't really make any sense. There's only 6 models on AOD, so like. Besides the point, rant over. A tier for Pathfinders. Where are we putting them, Orion?
So I kind of G. Where did you put them?
I put them in B.
Oh, you mean you got a point? That's what you got. Yeah, I've got Pathfinders in B. I think the team is really good, and it has some very advantageous matchups. The recon sweep nerf did hurt them a little bit, and the cheese from the grav inhibitor hurts. But like they're still overall a very good team, and they certainly can punch above on the tier list against some of these teams. But I think they do struggle, especially now with the grav nerf, into teams like Warmongers,
right?
That can really get into their stuff and can't die in one hit. Because Pathfinders cannot kill a model with any like sort of double tapping. It's like if they shoot a Goremonger, that Goremonger will survive.
You could, in theory, take Bonded and take a bunch of Shazlas and do the GA2 activate and come up and double tap with a GA2 against a Goremonger. Just saying, it's possible.
You totally could, but no one's doing that because there's honestly still not enough Pathfinder players. And the ones that are doing it, they may be doing it well, but they're not going crazy with the warriors. They're not.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I started modeling. I made one Pathfinder model and I stopped myself. I do like Pathfinders.
Yeah, I think they're cool.
That's not the guy.
That's why I made the one Pathfinder, and I'll maybe one day with enough encouragement I'll do the rest.
You mean with enough prodding from Dakota?
Chocobo,
do it.
We just need it for the channel. I like Tau Set. I think it's a cool color scheme. It's because I'm a fan of Fire Warrior, the video game.
Mm-hmm. It was a good game. I enjoyed that game quite a bit.
Giacomo, where are we putting Novies?
It was chunky, but I loved it. Okay. Let's see. So the big thing that actually kind of hurts them is their flame, whatever it's called, the
Ministorum Flamer stuff?
Blaze, yeah, because since they had to change it on our wonderful friends of Sanctifiers, they also had to change their Novitiates. Which makes sense. It puts them in line. I think that's always appropriate. You should do that. And that was a really nice ability, and because they were already kind of losing steam with a lot of their stuff, the way they heal, and faith points are fine, but blinding aura isn't really that much of a problem once you kind of know it. Like at a competitive level, you're going to know that's a trick. So you just know, like, I don't shoot unless I have options. And then I'm going to force them to take the bait shot and then use blinding aura and actually take another good shot. Right. That's how you play again into them. Mm-hmm. Their melee's fine, but you can usually kill the melee units before they get to you. And with the flamer not doing blaze damage, just as another hit to them, I think they're just falling a little further than before. I'm going to put them in D.
I think for me, I'm going to put them in B tier. I think that anyone who's actually playing them is playing them pretty well, and they figured out some of the tips and tricks. They had a decent win rate. I think they had just over 45% win rate. I think they can easily keep that, even though Blaze is nerfed. You know, a lot of their predators of elites are worse now, and they definitely, while some people really struggle with them, and they are not what they used to be, and they have changed innately as a team, I don't think that they're bad. You know, I think they're not fun to play against, but I don't think they're bad.
Now, with the elites gone and more people probably moving to melee hordes, do you think melee hordes are still a challenge for them?
I think melee hordes can be a challenge for them, but I don't think that they're going to suffer as much. For instance, I don't think Fellgor is coming back anytime soon. Now that Goremongers are out, you know, I don't think Kommandos are coming in. I just don't see them getting worse from the teams that are like, everything that they hated got nerfed. Like all hordes should technically get better because all the nerfs were faced towards elites this patch rather than anything aimed at anyone else. Right. So like technically they should just get better.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good point. It's solid.
I don't think they get like, I understand your point, but I don't think they get that much better.
I'm still putting them into D. I'm still thinking
just over 45.
Anything.
Yeah, for me, I have them pretty much like tippy top of C.
Okay.
Like any team with dice fixing is inherently good,
Mm-hmm.
but they do rely on your opponent not understanding their tricks. And ever since their damage reduction nerf, which was justified, but they should have gotten some separate things to compensate. And now with Blaze being even worse. I think that just knocks them down a little bit to the more mediocre category, but still.
So who gets the point? That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, you're both in between, right? One of you's on B.
So we get no points?
I'm in D.
He's in D. I'm in B.
Yeah, so I'm inclined to say this is a no points type thing.
Okay. Okay.
So do we have to go with Orion's take? We have to put him in C? All right, fair enough.
Regardless, if that's where we are anyways, that's where it would fall. It'd fall in the middle.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
So okay.
No Novitiates point.
All right.
It's like no points is really just getting 1 point each.
Yeah, I'll take a negative point for that.
Orion gets a point now.
No, I get a negative point. We couldn't reach a mutual conclusion.
Dang. Bad tier lists.
Mhm.
Okay, Legionaries. Ooh, okay. The nerf to Nurgle, people are saying it's not nearly as big, but I feel like I said it in the last one. I'd rather have that other ability be the one that everyone gets, as opposed to only Nurgle players get. So for me, that was kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not going to ruin the team. They're already not like doing crazy like dominant compared to other elite teams. But this is just another like, it's like, you kicked them in the shins a little bit and it kind of hurt. But not to the point where they're going to stop running.
Well, they also
I think they're still going to
punishing and all those.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But they're still Legionnaires.
How many people were
exactly? So they're still cool. Anointed is still strong. You never fight the Shrive Talon first. And the champion is cool. Champion guy's cool. I still put these guys in like a B tier. They're fighting around in that B tier. They're not quite moving out of it. What do you think?
I keep them in B. Yep. I think that they're going to stay right around a 47% win rate. I think that they're still a really good team. I don't think that the team's like ruined whatsoever. I think the team's still very strong. They keep getting nerf after nerf after nerf. I wonder when Games Workshop thinks it's going to be enough, but I think that they're just solidly in B. What about you, Orion? Where are we putting these?
I think they're solidly in the B tier.
Yep, yeah.
Team's pretty even, especially with the nerfs, just kind of rounds them out. They haven't been doing anything busted since their initial first wave, where they were just unfair in every regard. And now I think they're just a very flexible team, and I think they could go really farther down on this tier list or up on the tier list. It depends on the pilot.
True, I agree. I think they're a lot more fair, a lot more balanced.
Yeah, they're definitely more fair, especially with the crit nerf where you can't auto snipe elf units anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big deal.
Oh,
for
yeah.
them,
Yeah, that
because the difference between a dead model and a one wound model is critical.
It is.
Mm-hmm. It's critical.
I'm going to give myself a
This isn't that channel.
Orion auto-retaining things here. What do you think?
Corsairs now. Okay. They didn't really lose anything. They only have things to gain, right? But at the same time, it like Phobos still exists and can do the double hit and kill. Void Dancers, I guess, are still around, which can also do their stuff. But they do the missions well. They
do well on Plant Beacon specifically.
I like playing my
or
buddy
if your event
Alex
has
with
sabotage or intel or these kinds of
right, the
all
other
those
missions
fantastic missions
that everyone plays for fun.
Yeah, everyone plays them. We love them.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I play them only when me and my other playing opponent are like, do you want to play all random? And then everything is randomly chosen.
Yeah, for me, I only play them when I'm forced to at events. That's literally it. Giacomo's like, hey, should we spice it up on the stream tonight? I'm like, no.
Hell no. Which I'm usually like, all right, it's fine. I'm not really upset because it's honestly, I don't want to play it.
Now,
a sabotage game and somebody just run away with the crit op victory. Who cares?
No, sabotage is fine. I think you might be a little sabotage hating on that one. Extraction, though, that's the
okay,
one.
Mr. Crute player. Of course you like sabotage.
Dude, I got my ass handed to me at Worlds playing sabotage. Thank you very much. Hierotek said, what if we just won the game anyway?
Yeah, but that's Hierotek, that's also pre-nerfed Hierotek.
It sure was.
And
Alan still beat me senseless.
That's fair.
Well, regardless, I think Corsairs are still pretty fast. 7 inches is good. They still have a way to get through walls.
They can dash for free.
For free, and yeah, maybe the wall thing, you can't do as much damage as you could before, but now you don't use it for that tech anymore. Now you use it to get objectives which your opponent didn't see coming. So you have a different way to play them, but it's not so bad that I think they still kind of fall in P. I think you take them to a tournament and you're a competent player and you understand how your rules work. You're going to do all right. Will you win every game? No, but you will have a fun time.
I think this team is a very strong C team. They were in C at the end of this last data slate, and while some of their bad matchups got nerfed with the elites and stuff, they still seem to struggle really badly, and only the best players that can pilot them to victory. For instance, Vivek won a Canadian event with them, and that's the only event that they won out of all 63 events, right? Their placement rating isn't great. They're great on tac op. They've been kind of falling over to a breeze, a lot of these other bigger teams that are coming out, Battleclade, Raveners, Sanctifiers, just eat them alive. Goremongers are great into them. Even Wreka Krew has a decent match. Aquilons are amazing into them. There's just a lot of things currently in the meta that are still really good into Corsairs. And while a really good pilot can play them and do things well with them, the statistics are really showing that Corsairs are struggling to maintain a above 45% win rate.
Okay.
That's what I do. That's my take. Orion, where are we putting these guys?
Well, Dakota, I think that's a very good rationale. I think it's a very good reasoning using your statistics and whatnot. And, I'd be inclined to agree with all that if I didn't already put them in B tier.
Oh,
it's the vibes. I forget it's the vibes.
No, it's a little bit more than that. Because again, when I look at these things, I expect all players to relatively have the same skill level. And I think a good Corsair player can still do well with the team. I think
they can 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I don't think they're any worse than Legionaries, right? When I'm just looking at the things we're comparing them to, I don't think they're any worse than Wyrmblade. I think they don't quite have the reliability, but that also means that they have chances where they can spike games hard and they can flop games hard. I don't think they're consistently performing below average with that in mind, even though they are, from last slate performing below. I think some of the elite matchups also got even easier for them now with, Contagion being gone from Plague Marines in a lot of cases. They can charge in and do a little bit more stuff with that. Again, I think Nemesis Claw is also a big hindrance for them. Being able to just shoot them a little further away and, utilizing their dash to get out of charge ranges is going to be more beneficial because, Midnight Clad got nerfed. And I think there's a few teams where they can, even some of the new teams, I think they can still punch a little bit above. Like, I think they can kind of get into Raveners, just like, bubble when they're on the tunnel and conceal and just say, here's a melt-a-pistol, have fun.
The best way I've seen these guys piloted is just like stay away from the enemy. Don't let them kill your guys and just score as many tac ops as you can along with crit ops. Don't engage with the enemy unless if they just give you a free kill. And I've seen them perform relatively well playing that style. So
I would like to note that one tournament that Vivek did well in, he didn't just do well in. I think he dropped one singular point the entire event.
Wow. Good job, Vivek. Good job.
Yeah, there's only one game where he was not max score, and I think it was a 5-round event.
He just got tired at the last one. He was like, I'll give up 1 point to go to sleep.
That was the pity point for somebody.
That's crazy that he tabled his opponent every single game.
Yeah.
Objectively, I still think that's bad for the game, but that's not.
Sure, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about tier list, baby.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
This is a top tier. Everyone's going to die.
All right, but Dakota did not get that point.
Yes.
Giacomo did. Giacomo's pulling ahead.
I could lose in the Gallowdark tier.
Dude, the Gallowdark tier. Oh my goodness. Okay, go ahead, G.
There's Farstalkers in there.
Let's Kasrkin are in there, dude.
Oh, don't make me cry.
Fellgor and Salvagers are in there. Trust me, I have a really interesting statistic to tell everyone about the Gallowdark season specifically.
I love
G.
All right, Phobos. Okay, the only thing they really got hit was deadly shots, and
not true. There's one they took to the counteract nerf directly hits them.
Yes, agreed.
You're right, from the guard action, right?
Which is a big deal.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That is actually a pretty big deal. Because being able to track target and then go on after shooting them and then I still have counter action exactly is really nice. Okay. I still think because they have the here it's actually your activation again, which is an important thing that very good elite teams have, is giving your opponent a thing to be like, you have to actually activate again. Is always strong. Being able to hit twice with 4/4 damage means you kill most things that are 8 and less. Terror tactics are still decent. Deadly shots, you can't move as close now, which I've heard from more experienced Phobos players is a little bit of a problem, but not. I don't think it's necessarily turning it off entirely. The veteran is still good. Yeah, I still think these guys are going to fall in in the A tier. Yeah, I don't think they're getting thrown down entirely. They still
I'm not going to agree
7
with
inches
Giacomo. I'm going S tier.
S tier?
S tier for these guys.
Oh, you're risking it all. I like that.
I am. They won 7 events last data slate, right? They're a very popular team. Sure, they got nerfed. Sure, the guard thing is definitely going to hurt them. Does that drop them a little bit? Probably, but I'm going for vibes.
He's going for the vibes.
Tier. I'm going for it. You know, I think Phobos is cooking with gas up in Spain and in Europe and on the East Coast. It's dead in the West Coast, but that doesn't mean I don't believe in my beloved 12 wound Marines.
I think you're cooking with without a fire.
With the Emperor's face. That's what I'm doing.
I like that.
Giacomo gets a point. And
I am not vibing today.
You know, if track target was still around, I would have totally been with you on S. Yeah, track target is big.
I think they're a fantastic team, but the track target's painful, but it's not the end of the world. The deadly shots one does really hurt their consistency, because now they can't just run up and double tap you with pretty consistent shooting. Now, if they want to do that, their bolters can whiff with the Reavers. And that will make them think twice and will force them to play a little less optimally or as a little less aggressive as they were doing. And then with not being able to counteract from conceal, they can't. A, they're not going to run up as aggressive, and now B, they're going to be way more careful with their guard shots because now they're not safe from clapback return fire because they could hold that guard shot until they were safe to counteract, and then
See, I also put them in S tier because I knew it would piss David off the most. He's like our singular Phobos player on the West Coast. That he's not singular, but one of the few Phobos players on the West Coast that continually tells me they're in D tier. You are wrong, David.
Or David tier.
They're in David tier. Sure.
Oh, blooded. Ooh.
Ooh.
So I don't think they retained anything that would turn into something, right? They just had the auto hit with their blooded points, right?
They blow up. I don't know what I mean, I've just seen Brandon Bean kill people with them. He just takes champion and just wins games.
And dude, my friend who's doesn't play that often, but plays them, always is still pretty consistent with the team. He doesn't always win because obviously he's not a season, but he still does really well with just blooded. Because they're still they hit like a truck, and you know what they do? They do the one cool thing that I think is cool is if they die, you still get a bonus. You get a bonus from it. Doesn't matter if they die or you die, they still get a benefit. And that's insurance right there, baby. So and nothing really changed. Exactly. Unlike Deathcore, this is the best Deathcore you could have. I still think they're falling in A with their combos. You get rewarded for dying, for playing kind of aggressively. I think they're an A tier, and you got bodies for days.
Do you know how you beat how Deathcore is better? Instead, you give them a trench mechanic, just like Raveners, except you have to start from one edge of the board and go to the other side, and then you're building a trench, you're digging a trench, and then they get better when they're in the trench. I agree. They're an A tier in my opinion. I think they're a very good team. I think they're only going to get better. And I think if people put time into the team, I think the team is difficult, right? But I think if you put time into Blooded and you learn their combos and you go to Kiddo Crew on Patreon, you look up his stuff and you learn kind of how to play them. And learn that you want to be like hyper aggressive with them, taking champion, I don't know if he takes overrun, but I know he takes champion a lot.
Yeah, he
Storm
does.
objectives, stuff like that. And if you're able to really push your advantage and just double kill people or set up double kills, you can shoot somebody, charge in with a melee guy, then throw a crack grenade at another guy, get double kills, all that kind of stuff. They take a lot of comboing and they're very difficult, but they do have a really decent win rate for a reason. I'm keeping them in A tier.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're A tier. I think they're a solid team right now. Everything just got better for them.
Yes.
Strictly nothing has gotten worse for them.
And only elites got hurt.
Yeah, I think they're just living it up. Plague Marines were a bit of more of a struggle for them. Not even necessarily, but now it's even easier.
Contagion.
You can just charge into them free of charge because likely you're not poisoned turn one. And I think we all got it there. I think they're a solid team.
All right, I'm going to start off with Gallowdark. Gallowdark. There is, I believe, one team in this thing that was not below a 40% win rate.
Wow.
That was Hierotek. Hierotek had the best win rate in the game. The rest of the Gallowdark teams are sub 40%. And I have a theory. I'm going to cook you, Games Workshop, in the fires of the Emperor. No, I don't know. That was weird.
I like that.
I thought it was cool.
I think that they are purposely not buffing the Gallowdark teams because they're trying to buff all the Tomb World teams when they come out, and they're going to be Giga Chads. And they're going to let all these teams die. No, I don't think that. I just think that I think that these teams are just really struggling. They have been kind of forgotten. We'll kind of get through each one. And maybe just Gallowdark was just like a rough redesign. They came out really cooking like last edition. And then this time they just like Goremongers just do what Hand of the Archon and Fellgor want to do, but just better. Exaction's just too complicated. We'll kind of get to them. Breacher's got a really big buff, right? Look, I can even prove it. Hold on. Let me go here.
Gunner, right?
Measure our buffs.
So I think Salvagers are in C tier, right? If I can, let me move this. Salvagers are in C. Farstalker, Breachers. I guess there might be a Exaction Squad's up here. Okay, I was lying. It must have been this one. Every single team, I lied. I just lied to everyone. I literally just copied and pasted all of season 2 teams down to 0 because it was like the biggest clump of teams. It was like literally 7 teams in a row.
Yeah,
right?
Only Hierotek made it out.
They have not won a single event this.
Wow.
That's what it was. Sorry. The win rates, some of them are fine, but it doesn't matter if you can't win, right? Well, an event, I guess. So they're struggling at top tables. They seem to be doing okay at some of the others, like we have Exaction at a 45. It's mostly because no one knows what they do. I'm going to stack 5 buffs on this guy and I'm going to
double parry shields.
Is that a thing? Oh yeah. They also have the most toxic rule trait in the game.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, double parry shields, man, defends against the biggest threat right now, which is melee teams.
Breachers, I have a hard time for myself putting above D tier. They have been the lowest picked team in this entire edition. I think they have sub 50 total games played at events in the entire edition. I'm relatively sure. We might just be just over 50. That's like since it's been like almost a year, and that is specifically, again, 16 players or more, 4 rounds or more, right? Relatively rough. And that was like, 10 games of Worlds? There's 16 games this last data slate. Pretty rough. I'm going to keep them in D tier just because I don't think anyone's going to play them. They got rid of their cool breaching clear mechanic. Like, who wants to play that?
That should have stayed. But I think there's another problem that 4 teams suffer from. And 3 of those teams are in this tier, and that is Inquisition. So anyone who might use them are like, no, we're playing Inquisition with them. And the only, actually, I don't think I know anyone who doesn't really play these teams without Inquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow,
You do.
maybe I guess
You do.
Exaction.
Yeah,
I
we
guess
went to
do,
the
right?
doubles tournament and we realized that in the doubles tournament format, you could have just played Inquisition and just had an extra model. You know,
I could have, but then I would have lost out on my skills, and the skills at arms is what kept us alive too. You know.
Yep, I agree.
So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't know anything about Inquisition, so I would have lost for sure.
And we don't talk about that part. We talk about
which is why you should play a thing you know how to play, even if it maybe is not the best, because you're going to do better at it than taking a meta team that you know nothing about, other than that you know it's supposed to be good. You know, what was the joke? Yeah, I got a net deck and I lost every game because I don't know how to play the game. So netless, you know. There you go. So you put him in D, and I think that now with the extra wound and the 2 gunners that you can take, which is nice. So you don't have to take the extra shotgun guy, which is just, he's whatever. Just take a Melta and take a Plasma now, which is nicer. Assuming that Inquisition wasn't going to be the choice you take them with, right? Mm-hmm. I'd have to put them in the C tier.
There's no reason to bring the team, Giacomo. There's still there's not an official reason. And also, I know Orion, we're going to D tier because he believes the exact same thing you do, right? If they're better at Inquisition, they're just a bad team.
And that's what I dislike so much, because Inquisition, like, they might have some good tech, but Inquisition's like, I'm gonna take that tech, and which is why I think Inquisition and teams that might be made like this in the future is not a good design, because that just totally makes things irrelevant. And what's the point, right?
Yeah, just keep them to Sisters and Scions. Just keep them to Sisters and Scions, and
right. Sisters and Scions, give them some rules, and then throw in a Grey Knight and a Deathwatch model. Now, in
my opinion, it's impossible to balance Deathcore, Breachers, and Kasrkin because of Inquisition. It's impossible. You can't give them active buffs unless if you're giving them extra models, and or you just have to buff the ploys, it's
tough.
Imagine if all Deathcore got +2 wounds, they'd be insane in Inquisition.
Jesus.
What do you think, Orion?
Well, I said, you guys know my take on the Inquisition. That's been my running thing from the start with a lot of these teams. So I am, unfortunately, I have to rule them into the D tier category with that in mind.
I understand.
But I also understand Giacomo's points, where they should probably bump up here. I mean, they're suffering from low play. They should see a little more play with some of these new changes. Who doesn't like 8 wounds? I like 8 wounds. I
like 11 wounds on the Endurant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. The extra wounds are nice. The extra gunner's nice. It does open up a little more play for them. So I could realistically see them ignoring the elephant in the room, bumping up to C tier. But I stand by my guns on the whole Inquisition ploy. Inquisition is terrible for the game, always has been, always will be. Forces teams into D tier.
Big sad, but truths.
Next up, we have Farstalker Kinband. Farstalkers, easy one for me, straight into D tier, taking them down to Dogtown with all their other dogs on their teams. I don't think that the team is in particularly amazing. Sure, it got a little bit better. Orion will know better than me because he's played quite a lot of this team.
Oh, I have.
But I don't necessarily think that the team has dug itself out of its 35 or 33% win rate. The team seems to be struggling and probably just needs a redesign if they ever wanted to be decent, I'm not really sure how to fix the team. They could keep upping the damage, but that doesn't seem to be fixing the team. Sorry for all you Kroot lovers. I'm a big Kroot fan myself, but I'll probably never play this rendition of the team.
As sad as it is. Yeah.
I think D tier is the correct answer. I don't see anyone really having when I lose to Farstalkers, it's because I'm playing a D tier team as well.
Yeah.
Fair, yeah.
Specifically Kasrkin.
There is a world where they could potentially punch into some of the upper teams that are coming out. Like I feel like they might be able to take on Sanctifiers, weirdly enough, because they are good at beating up like 7-8 wound teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think they have the consistency and the player base to kind of bring them up.
Why play Farstalkers when you could just play Sanctifiers?
Well, I mean,
or
because
Vespids. I think Vespids are better than Kroot.
Yeah, I mean,
I would be inclined to agree. So,
well, I'm going to abstain from that. But yeah, no, I think Kroot's down at the bottom. I think this team is really suffering. The elite nerfs do help them. Specifically, like the Nemesis Claw one's pretty good for them.
Yeah, but the range is nice.
And then you just look at Raveners, and it's like,
right? Do they beat Raveners now?
No. They have no tricks to deal with Raveners.
Raveners just eat them. They pop out of their holes, and they're like, "Oh, I get a double kill. Cool."
Yeah, what's a cover save to a snake that doesn't shoot?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Farstalkers going into D tier. Sorry, everyone. I would wish I could play some higher, but this is not a fun tier list. We've done that before. You can check out that video. I do think Farstalkers are quite fun to play. I'm a big fan of them and their aesthetic, but you know, the next team is easy for me. I think Hierotek goes straight into S tier, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
I think they nerfed a cheese strategy for the team. I think the team needs another nerf. You know, I think they definitely need. I still don't know why the kill op doesn't work against them. You know, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you can get 2 confirmed kills against each one, which is nice, right? It's just nice, but it's the only team that functions that way. I think that they're just too good at what they do. They still heal a lot. People are going to be able to figure out another way to play the team that is just as busted. Maybe not as busted as Time Splinter and like moving Time Splinter twice, but they still have 2 heroes that haven't got nerfs, right? They're still like on release. So I don't think they've got nerfs. They could have, you know, I purposely try not to pay attention to Hierotek because they frustrate me just as much as a Hunterclade personally. Yeah, I just think that the team is going to be able to be okay no matter what, because the team's whole strength comes from its core rules value rather than, you know, they get to cheese and alpha strike 2 models early. You know, I think the guard thing also hurts them, but you know, I don't think it's that big a deal. What do you guys think? They disappeared, right? Right after Worlds when they got a nerf, and then everyone was like, "Oh, they're still really good. Oh, look at let's okay." They got immediately nerfed.
That's kind of been that's been Hierotek Circle's MO. They're really good. They take a nerf. Everyone's like, "Oh man, not a nerf. I guess we'll go play Sanctifiers." And then they come back when they're rubbing their greasy little hands together, and they're like, "Haha, they haven't been nerfed in a while. They're still."
Because I think a lot of things like with your S tier decision, which I feel like I'm inclined to take only because this team still has tools, and yeah, you might have stopped one way of playing them, but when they took the nerf, teams that could hurt them also took a nerf. So,
dude, they could nerf their total wounds to make them easier to kill. Like if they come back to life and they ruin the tac op, why are they so freaking hard to kill? You know, like, and then they come back, like just lower their wound count, do something else to the team, not just to one hero they had a 56% win rate and they won 7 events. Crazy. And then they got like their hero got nerfed. Oh, here's just,
with enough of these nerfs, I think I'd put them in A, even though I'd want to agree with S, because slingshotting was pretty nice, and the guard is going to always be a thing that hurts you because you're just not thinking about it on open boards. At least, I'm sure they'll figure it out, but that's something that might catch you off guard. You're like, oh, I forgot that I can't do that, and then now you're kind of like just out there, or you don't get that extra shot you wanted. So I think A is fine for them. Maybe they'll bounce back to S. You know, it could happen. but I'm going to put him in A.
What do you think, Orion?
I would put him in A as well. I think that fucking seething. Goodness.
Fucking steamboat over here, It's a steamboat.
Their tools aren't over it.
The team can deal with tempo issues, which I think a lot of people don't play enough into, like throwing stun grenades at them and stuff like that. With this nerf, they can't set up nearly as well turn 1 as they used to, which means they're setting up which means they're setting up for turn 2 into turn 3, which means they're not doing nearly as much. The engine's not running at full capacity there. So the team's still amazing. Let's not misconstrue that. But I think some of the tools that were consistently putting them in a dominating position, now they have to play a little more fairly, because any team that can play on turn 1 has the advantage because they set the tempo immediately. If we're not playing on turn 1 and setting up for turn 2, we're kind of just like all the other teams, and then we'll see where the dice land.
That's fair. Oh, man. We got Kasrkin up next.
Just put him in there.
Yep, put them in D tier. They belong with the Kroot dogs. They're not doing well. I mean, at this point, just bring back elite points.
Yeah. So you both get a point for this.
Yay!
I don't even need to hear the rationale.
I'm pretty sure Giacomo's just absolutely destroying me in points.
I'm crushed, man. Like, look at it like this. Why play Kasrkin when you can play Aquilons?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, just why?
Or Inquisition.
Yeah.
Or
Inquisition.
Fuck.
Hand of the
I need a
Archon's
cigarette
up
after this. I don't even smoke.
Squad gains does not justify Giacomo's message, everyone. Just
Correct.
so you know.
It was purely a joke. I do not smoke. I do not condone people, or I don't ask people to smoke. If you do it, that's you, but I do not recommend people smoke.
I'm keeping the next team right down here in sub 40% win rate. Goremongers exist, Raveners exist. Hand of the Archon, the Drukhari will continue to bring pain, unless if the dwarves rise in power. That's the only time they're coming back, because they like to enslave dwarves. They've already enslaved all the Kroot. It's in a book. You can read it.
That sounds kinky.
They like their little beaky screams, but I think they deserve to be directly down into D tier, just because every team that wants to do what they do does things better. I know that, Hand of the Archon can be played well, but for now, D tier, because why would you play him?
Yeah, it's one of those. I think Corsairs can do what they do, like in terms of, or not what they can do. If I had to pick between a team, I think Corsairs is the better choice because of doing missions, and that's where you're winning. Mm-hmm. So like, it's cool that they can absolutely like kill stuff. That's awesome for Hand of Archon. But I think missions are more important because that's where you win. So yeah, I feel like I haven't seen this team at all in any of our tournaments. Like, period. Rob used to play them, and I don't think Rob plays them anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't actually know what Rob plays these days. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, what is Rob doing?
Rob is being a teacher, doing things.
Yeah, there you go.
Being the Highlander, running around in Scotland. Scotland.
And I think other threats that they have, like, maybe elites are nerfed, but I don't think that's their main threat either. Okay, we'll put him in D.
You think D tier? Oh, Orion, he is staring at us with a blank look on his face.
It's going to be like, C tier, guys. You're both wrong.
He's like, dude, I put him in A tier. Like, you guys are dumb.
Nah, if I'm staring at you with a blank look, it's just because I'm stupid. I don't understand big words. I had him a little higher. I had him at C tier. The team, ever since its last round of nerfs, which they caught really kind of unnecessarily, I feel, it knocked them down quite low, but I don't think low enough. I think they still have some cool tools to deal with a bunch of teams. And they do have the diversity to play in, any map still.
I think looking at it from your perspective, where you're like all players are the same skill level, I could definitely see C tier. You know.
Yeah, I don't think they're nowhere near Kasrkin. You put those two on the table, I think Hota's going to win every day. You know, I think Hand of the Archon is still going to be crude every day.
I don't know. For Cadia, man. For Cadia. That's what I'm thinking
Cadia's nice. Four attacks, man.
Yeah, they can chant that while they're getting tied up. I know. 10,000 different needles. For Cadia.
Kasrkin are too nice. They're such an honest team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just Khazar cants at the moment. That's okay.
The Khazar absolutely cants.
Yeah.
The Khazar don't even think about it. But yeah, no points for that. I just take another negative because bad me.
Because we're dumb. You can't predict what we're gonna do. Next up, we have Exaction Squad. Exaction Squad is overly complicated. I don't like playing against them. I love the models. I think they're really cool. I've never played the team, though I have 30 of them. I think I gave 10 of them to Giacomo to paint up, and neither of us has painted them because they don't seem fun for me to play. They're not my aesthetic to play currently, you know. I'm gonna keep them in the B tier. They do. I mean, elites are getting worse, but I don't see them raising above a 50% win rate. You know, I don't think they're going to get worse and drop from B tier because they were in B tier this past edition, but I just don't think that I think that we're going to see a lot of people transitioning to a lot of Volcus teams and Beta Decima teams. Not necessarily Gallowdark. Gallowdark has remained a rather unpopular set of boxes for this edition currently. So I'm going to keep them in B tier.
I think that feels right because double parry is still a decent mechanic into melee hordes. But every time I've played against them, they're just really good at parrying, but not at finishing me off. So here I stand unsatisfied and not defeated by the team.
I'm going to go A tier. Screw you, Giacomo, just because they're good in the elites.
I'm going B. I'm going B.
I'm not. They did take a nerf here, in case you guys don't know. They took a nerf? They did take a nerf. One of their main things is they rely pretty heavy on punishing, and combos here and punishing now got nerfed, so they are dealing less damage, especially
going to C tier. Going to C tier. Right back down to the pits they go.
Just gonna.
Just wanted to throw
How important was that punishing? How important was that punishing?
It's very important. Like every single time, Alex was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stack all these buffs and punishing," and then he would just like.
That's a great Alex impression.
Oh, because you can make a. And they don't have an upside. They haven't gotten a buff.
Well, they got a buff because elites are easier to deal with. Raveners are also being more important in the meta, which shields, Raveners, not their favorite thing.
B tier. Yeah, B tier. I'm going to send them B tier. Yep. The Raveners. I'm going to stick to my guns because melee is still around in melee hordes and in. And shotguns are great in close range, and melee wants to get in close. I'm still thinking B.
All right.
I love how competitive this is getting. It's fantastic. I can hear them just like,
just
I'm writing it down.
I think
these are the takes people want.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows about Exaction? Where are we sitting, Orion?
So I don't think they may drop from the punishing. We'll see just how that shakes out. But I think as much as that may hurt them, a lot of the elite nerfs help them. So I think they're sitting pretty at B. I think you had it right originally, Dakota.
You were right there. Shouldn't have.
He was right there, and he talked himself out of it.
He almost convinced me, and I was like, "No, this is the wrong path. I have to go." This is, by the way, this is one of the few teams that isn't necessarily affected by Inquisition, which is surprising.
You're not wrong.
Yes. Yeah, there's still probably better choice to take with Inquisition, but for the sake of people who want to play these teams, I think it's fair to place them outside of that. Unless they're like the bottom rung, right? Because
they got a dog, so that already makes them cool.
Robo dog.
Again, they get to take significantly more shields, I think, if they're not playing on Exaction. Like a lot of their tools work better outside of Exaction. But
they also wear tight leather, and they like to extract pain out of people, just like Hand of the Archon. Moving on from there, we have Salvagers coming up next. Salvagers, I've always ranked them low. I'm going to put them in C tier. I don't think Salvagers, I'm going to put in D tier.
I was going to be right there with you.
D tier for sure. They took a lot of nerfs.
With their...
I don't think that the team is, the team is worse because they got rid of a lot of the cheese from, I know I'm going to get hate on YouTube for saying that. But they got a lot of cheese of like auto retain, auto critical. I think that's bad mechanics in games. I don't think you should be auto retaining criticals. It just doesn't make any sense. Criticals should be rolled, or you should have to change a dice for it. In my opinion. But like, I think their play rate is going to tank. I think the retain change is going to ultimately, I don't know if it was a change either, right? Like, who knows what maybe it was intended that way and it just wasn't worded correctly in the book, right? That goes back to a long conversation from when this question was first brought up back in like March. But Salvagers, they get beaten melee by horde teams. Their shooting is going to be worse. They got nerfed multiple times from like the jetpack going from like a 9-inch throw to nothing is going better for the team. They continually to get pummeled. Games Workshop is trying to have Raveners come into the game and eat them just like they did in the old lore. They're dead. They're doomed. Dwarves are gone. Where do you think? Unfortunately, they're gone.
I'm right there with you because of that change to the way retain works, whether it was before or not, but now official. That change is huge, right? And you, like you mentioned, they still lose in melee. Like, yeah, plasma knives are fine, but they're not really the focus of it. It really was doing a lot of the ancestors are watching and then doing the retains, like for grudge tokens. That was a really strong move, and they haven't really gotten any big benefit. Because honestly, they used to be okay into elites with punishing shots and just like getting crits off, and you could one shot an elite, and that's pretty powerful, and that's not maybe as relevant now because elites are going to be switching up. Some players are going to be like, take them back and take this instead. So yeah, I think D is where they belong right now. Sad.
Yeah, sad. I would agree. I think the nerfs are pretty substantial. That's a team that already was really hoping for, a lot of crits. And now having to choose between, the retains or just trying to actually get crits is not great for them. And again, they were way more reliant on, the turn one jetpack, strategies that I think a lot of people wanted to admit. Because now without, you can still kind of do it, but it's not as effective currently.
Turning point 2 is the best time to do it now, and it's still not good enough for the team, And then when that model dies, you're supposed to get a grudge token, but do the grudges really matter if their pen is out of ink and they can't write you in the book? I don't think so. Sorry about that, grudges. Write me in the book if you have any ink left. We're going down to downtown, right down to D tier. Sorry. Fellgor up next, the last team of Gallowdark. They have been struggling statistically. They are not good. Goremongers do everything that they want to do, but better. They got a couple nerfs. They have not recovered. They have like a 33 or 35% win rate. They are doing awfully. Like, let's just check real quick. They have one of right in the middle, right here, the 38% win rate. Absolutely awful. The team I don't see getting any better. Sure, elites are getting worse, but I don't know if that's like their worst matchup. Sure, Dueler kind of helped. This is one team that struggled into Dueler specifically, but like, how many Fellgor were we seeing? Very much. How many AOD were playing?
I didn't jump to Goremongers.
Yeah.
I mean, to caveat that a little bit, a lot of Fellgor players you would talk to, they're like, I'm not playing them because I don't want to run into Dueler Astartes. I don't want to run into Contagion Plague Marines because they're a very popular team. I think with that in mind, there were a lot of players that did not want to play them specifically because they were scared to just run into that matchup because it was just such uphill. A lot of players don't want to do that.
I mean, that's very valid. I still think they're going to be sitting in D tier. I don't think that they're very good anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, like, is in Midnight Clad really like doing anything for this team? Did they?
I think
are they worried about it?
I
Dueler
think
was probably the only thing they're really worried about, and
well, Dueler and Contagion, I think, were the big boogeymen for them. I mean, hitting on 4s and 5s with a lot of their operatives was not.
I still think they beat a lot of teams in C tier and B tier, you know, but I don't think they beat a lot of teams in ARS. So
now here's the thing with Plague Marines, since you're more experienced with the team, knowing that Contagion is gone, would you start adapting to using your poison ability to poison them when you're closer, so that when they fight you in melee, they still suffer from it? Now that you don't have to worry about that, you just poison them ahead of time?
There's also a charge ploy. If you're within something, you can spend a CP and poison somebody, I'm pretty sure.
It's if you're within 3 during your activation, you can poison someone, but it has to be during your activation. You can't just poison somebody for funsies. Mm-hmm. You can try to roll for it during your activation, but if you don't poison anybody turn 2, likely if you're not making an aggressive move up forward to somebody, whoever you're doing an action against will either be poisoned or dead, which we don't care too much about that. We care about the clapback where models are charging into the Plague Marines or getting within, control range of the Plague Marines. And those models typically won't be poisoned unless the sorcerer got a poison off early on for some reason. So the Contagion thing is kind of big because the initial move from your opponent as the Plague Marine player will be unobstructed for the most part if they play correctly.
Also, I think now that you guys say it, I think I'm going to put them in C tier.
Personally. Yeah, that feels right.
Just because I think they beat AOD. I think they beat a lot of the other C teams. Probably beat a lot of B teams.
Yeah, because they can't be in the D tier. They're beating everybody in that tier.
But I mean, like Giacomo, like do they jump up to a 45% win rate just off the bat from a 35 just because like Dueler is no longer in the meta? I mean, that's a really good point, Orion. I think that they just utterly crush AOD now.
Like Exaction is still there with double blocking, and so is Rattlings. They have double blocking.
Who plays Exaction and Rattlings?
Maybe we'll see an upsurge now because, sure, they don't have punishing, but you still have double parry. And if melee teams become more dominant, you're going to want the ability to just shut them down.
Teams become more dominant. They're pretty decent into elf teams with their 4/4 guns.
Yeah. And again, shotguns are still pretty good up close. And if you can double parry with dudes, and elves also still want to hit you in melee with power swords, double parry. It's still around, and the team that has it is Exaction. And, there's still a way for them to do it. It's just now maybe that's going to be the shift. Right. So is Fellgor really going to go past that? I don't necessarily think so. I think C is where they're going to land.
Yeah, I'll go with C. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be spicy enough to put him in B tier because I'll just lose another point.
He's like, it's B tier.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to rage.
Oh, it's just B tier.
It's B tier.
No!
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
Low.
He's so good at talking himself out of the correct answer, man.
Right, he was right there.
He was right there. Yeah, I had him in B tier because I think, Giacomo, you bring up a good point where, Exaction's, competing against them and whatnot, and all those
Giacomo
tools
talked
exist.
Me out of it. I was thinking about it.
Yeah, but, this is one team. A lot of the other teams that they'll be fighting against, they're going to have even ground against. They're going to be able to take on Legionaries. And, even if you look at from last edition to this edition, Exaction versus Fellgor hasn't changed substantially. And even when you look at those numbers, Fellgor, even with the shield debuff, still usually came out on a little bit on top on those matchups. Just because Exaction doesn't have the consistency to keep that up. They still hit on 4s, and sometimes that double parry doesn't hit. So Fellgor is still, in my opinion, I think, if players decide to pick them up, because again, a lot of players might just play Goremongers.
I think
they might still just leave them where they are. If players pick them up, I think they'll be a B team. But if players keep them where they are, they're probably in C.
Fair. That's fair. Giacomo,
nobody gets the point for that.
Unfortunate. I could have tried to catch Giacomo there. Unfortunately,
I think Rattlings still do okay there. Because Ogrins have double parry, and they take a hit and they
Ignore the
mollywop
Ogrins
hard.
and just kill all the little dudes.
The
Kill 'em
point, if
all.
you're playing Ratlings, the only guys who should be dying is your grappling hook guy, because he has to play the most risk to go do objectives in the back. Everyone else should be creating a spot where your opponents don't want to go because they're going to get blasted. That's their whole job. We'll get into Ratlings in a second.
I
talked with my
works in
with a
theory,
coworker.
yeah.
We'll get
All right.
there. We'll get there. Petadecima time.
Yeah, go for it, G. Start it off.
Mandrakes. Did they get a buff?
No.
No. So, what are we doing here, boys? Like, I guess the backwards shooting is kind of cool. But you know what? Actually, the backwards shooting was really good into elites, and guess what? Supposedly, it's not going to be around as much, right? Turning it from a 3-up save to a 4-up save for the elites was cool, but like, well, all right, I guess. I think they're still in C. I don't think there's anything that's really changing that's pushing them up.
That's difficult.
Give me that counter, and don't psych yourself out.
I'm going B tier. First answer, final answer.
I like that.
First answer, final answer, B tier. Not going to talk myself out of it. It's just my feels. It's just the vibes. I have no further thought process in my life. Orion is screwing with me. He's holding his nose because he also put him in C tier. I'm just psyching myself out again.
A tier.
No, man, this might fucking blow your guys' socks off. I have him in D tier.
Whoa!
I think they are the worst elf team in the game currently. Well,
Worse than Hand of the Archon.
Yeah. I think a lot of the things they excelled well against are currently going down in the meta. I don't think they were really performing super well previously. And I think right now, if you were to choose an elf team, it's just going to be, Harlequins. If you really want to be competitive.
And Blades too.
I think Blades is good.
Yeah, Blades are there as well. Mandrakes, they just need so much to make themselves work, as I've been seeing as the edition goes on. And because there's just less points on the board, they just don't do what they used to. And I think we're starting to see it more and more where they just can't close out games very effectively, especially if, opponent knows how to play against them. If your opponent doesn't know how to play against Mandrakes, it's, fine.
So what you guys are telling me, in order to prove you both wrong, I am hoping for next week we get an announcement that the next approved ops is coming out. And they're going to have a Giga Chad shadow tac op in there that just makes Mandrakes win everything.
The very well might be,
Giacomo got another damn point, and I did not.
Yeah, he did because he was closer. I just don't think the team's very good, but I think that does put them in C tier overall for us.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
We got the controversial
ultimately getting annihilated by Giacomo here. Absolutely crushed.
Let's finish
it's not
this
like
nightmare.
I think about Kill Team literally all day, every day. So I don't do that at all.
That's all we do.
My wife doesn't tell me that I need to think about her some and not just this damn game. All right, Giacomo. See if you get another point on this team.
Okay.
Speaking of which, painted beautifully by Giacomo, this model here.
Thank you.
Claw. Yeah.
And don't forget, Mr. Alex Popov did Mandrakes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shout out. Orion, when are you going to donate a model so we can take a picture of it?
Oh my god! Oh no!
Yeah, Angel was supposed
to do that.
Yeah,
oh shit! I actually didn't realize that. My bad. I didn't want to be mean.
I called him yesterday and I was like, "Yo, make sure Angel sends me a picture of one of your Gellerpox so I can donate
she
them
was
to
all
this."
on board for it, and I think she forgot.
That's okay.
We will blame
you can always
Angel.
send us something in the future, and
she was being a devil that day.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, -1 point.
No angels.
Shout out to Angel.
Wow, it's not. Anyways, besides that little tangent, Nemesis Claw. What people want to listen to? They want to hear about the elites, right?
Guilty.
Okay. The nerf to 8 inches is tough, but melee teams weren't really shooting. So that's not that bad. That's mostly for shooty teams. The loss to your prescience did hurt because if you kind of roll some bad ones, it's like it's okay, I can recover by turn 3. You could just roll 1-1-1 and you keep losing it every turn, and that sucks because you're not gaining a free command point, you're not skipping a turn, you're not evading damage with your visionary. So that's more of a problem in my eyes. But there's still Nemesis Claw. Screecher still has lethal 4 when you're wounded. Then the Skin Thief still reduces damage, and the 4/6 glaive is still really strong. And we have come for you, so you charge in, do some damage, 4/6 glaive, kill guy who's at 8 wounds most likely because of the averages, and then you can do I'm going to say it backwards, the Hunt of Black, in order to go. I'm going to jump over here now. Proclivity for murder, so that you can go, now I'm in here and I'm going to fight you again, and then I'll kill you, which I do many times. And it always rocks, honestly. And really, if Angels of Death people are like, I'm throwing away my Space Marine models for something else, that means you don't have guys who are double parry, which actually is quite annoying when you're a very melee focused elite team. Again, with Exaction, they have double parry, but again, we have come for you. Doing that extra D3 potential damage is just like, it didn't matter. I still was able to get you. Poison is always nice. You can have the Melta as an option. They still have the kits that you want. And so to me, I think they're kind of like with their brothers in Legionary, they're falling in B. They're still all right, but not quite A anymore. Yeah, not quite A anymore. I don't think so.
My mind just got blown. Okay, all right. Mind is absolutely blown. Before I give my thing, I just want to say, look at this. One S tier, mostly down here. I'm just saying, like it looks like a lot of the old teams are struggling according to us. We don't know anything. We don't think about kill team all day. I'm putting Nemesis in D tier. I think they suck. I think that you put them on the shelf until we get our prescience points back. I don't care if Giacomo's a master Nemesis Claw player. I have stats to back me up. Look at these guys. Where are they? They're in B tier at the top of B tier right now.
Do you actually want to do D, or do you want to get a point?
C tier. I've changed my mind.
Okay. Watch Orion's like, it was totally D. Which you'd still get a point if that was the case. You would still get a point because it's closer.
If that's the case.
Yeah, okay. I think they're going to drop 4 full percentage points, not 10. I thought they were in C tier. I'm not going to lie. Okay, don't flame me, guys. Goodness gracious with this team. Oh my gosh, Orion's game is getting to me. We're going to go C tier. Final answer. Dropping 4 percentage points. I think they still put them on your shelf. Yeah, there we go.
Yes. So while you may be organizing a school walkout over the prescience points, they are still in B tier for me.
I lost my glasses. God.
Now you have to do the rest of the show without him.
Oh no!
It's okay. I take my glasses off because it gets too shiny on my face.
Man, you're getting a whole stage of points here, G.
I lost my mind. I don't know what's going on.
Man, if you're not watching this on video, his face is red. He can't see his face because of his color blindness.
You got gray face going on.
Oh man.
Fucking B tier for these ding dongs.
Yeah,
oh man.
I think they're still going to be decent. I mean, I could really be wrong on that.
Real tears.
Oh my god, he really
Jesus. Lost it. All right, bringing it back. Woosah. All right. Okay.
There you go. All right, it's Blades of Khaine time, and I think these guys are great. They have a lot of tools. You can play all melee if you want. You can split it up to have a little bit of range. They don't have Torrent anymore.
What happened?
Is that still a thing for them?
Wait, what were we saying about Nemesis Claw? What was Orion's thought process? Lost it right at the beginning of his speech.
I mean, I back what a lot of Giacomo says. A lot of their tools are still good. The return or the in Midnight Clad, it hurts them a little bit, and they're basically affected by every pistol in the game. But I mean, pistol fire wasn't their major concern in the first place.
Rending pistols from scorpions,
right? I mean, so it will be good, but I think they still have good abilities. Like they still have Vox Scream to cancel things. They still play very cagey, and they still can. Prescients are still good. Like even if you don't get to use them the way you used to, if you have enough during the turn, it's still going to be fine. That change doesn't hurt them as bad. I think the team's still good. I think it'll still win some. They'll still lose some. I don't really think it drops down to a really struggling elite team. Like none of these things make them just struggle.
I take it back. Put them in D tier. I don't even care. Giacomo, move on to Blaziken. I've lost this game already.
One last caveat. I actually don't think there's any elite team that's below B, but we'll get to that. Blades of Khaine. The Blades of Khaine. Okay, so like I was saying, they're an all-star team. They got so many tools. They can go ranged. I think they still have Torrent on their gun. I don't remember if that got removed or not.
For Dire Avengers.
Scorpions deserve a 3-up save.
You're not wrong.
And even without it, they're still good. And there you go, right? 3-up save, gang. Can we figure that out? If I do a plus, does somebody do a 3? How does that work? There you go.
I think I have to do the plus, and then Orion has to do the 3.
Do the 3. There you go. 3-up gang. Yeah, they're still good, and the warrior aspects are strong. Like there's really good ones. Like Banshees can still fly. So what are we doing here? Power swords are still strong. Like wow. I've witnessed people just take all Banshees for most of a tournament and basically almost win. Like okay. They're just that kind of team, and it like Deathcore. It took us a little bit of time to figure out that they're actually quite good, and not having Contagion, not having Dueler really being this extra problem, just gives them a little bit more of a boost. I think they're an A.
I think they're an S tier, 100%. They had a 56% win rate. They had 2 overall wins. I think beacons on Banshees are too strong.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I think Banshees need to be nerfed. And I think that like Dire Avengers should still probably be buffed because there's like you just take 1 or 2. There's no other reason. And obviously Strike and Scorpion should have a 3-up save because they should be lore accurate. We shouldn't be playing with like balance them in a different way and just keep them lore accurate. They have Space Marine armor for frickin' reason, At this point, I'm getting angry about their lack of listening to internet talkheads, But I think Banshees are probably too strong, and I think that Chris Baki played them really well at LVO. They have not received any nerfs. I think they could easily win that probably tournament now with as many nerfs that WarpCoven's got. I think Baki easily could have won that whole thing. So still S tier. I think they're a great team.
So I originally haven't really had them nearly as high as I do currently. I think they are an exceptionally good team currently, and I think they will beat a good portion of the teams out here currently with the newest nerfs. The verdict's still out on how they handle like Raveners. I don't know if they can. I think that might be a fine matchup, but I have seen them perform really well recently. And even all the way back to like LVO, Chris was an exceptional player playing them well. There are wrong ways to play them, which is one of my only concerns with the team. Where you
Goremongers exist too now, so
you can just choose the wrong operatives. And then it won't work. If your opponent is really toned in to your tricks as well, it doesn't always work as much.
Yeah, but there's this thing that all Blades of Khaine players should know. Eldrad guides you, right? He guides you to the right decisions. He casts Fortune upon you, so you just crush your enemies, right? And then we can Eldritch Doom the rest of them,
There you go.
So my question to you, Dakota, is do you really think Blades of Khaine are significantly better than Harlequins?
I think that they are better than Harlequins, yes.
And why do you say that?
I think that they have tons of more ways to play. Just like we're seeing the best factions in the game currently can do everything, right? We can see WarpCoven can do anything. I think Hierotek deserve to be an S tier because they can do whatever they want. They're hard to kill. They do everything. Sanctifiers are right up there. I think Raveners are really good at doing pretty much whatever they want as well. I think there's a lot of like, I think that Plague Marines probably should be an S tier, but their win rate is god awful because they used to be really good at doing everything as well. I think that they're just a better overall team. Void Dancers does one thing really good. They stack the crit op really well. They can get their tac ops really well. If you know how to play against them, you know how to beat them, or you have a team that's good into them, they will falter, they will fail. If you play into Blades of Khaine and they are a good Blades of Khaine player, they can just bring a bunch of Dire Avengers and just completely nuke the way that you think that the team is going to function, right? They can bring so many different things to the battle that all other elf teams are currently locked into playing one specific style or one specific way. And I think because of their versatility, it makes them better than Void Dancers because they can make themselves have better matchups, even at the detriment that they might choose the wrong operatives.
All right. I can agree with that. I had them at like a very high A, but I think I can agree with that sentiment. If like everything is chosen correctly, and like you're playing them to counterpick exactly what you're playing against, right? You don't make any wrong choices, and you don't, screw up your techniques. I think they could, in the current upcoming meta, I think they could be in an S tier situation.
I have seen that, Giacomo.
All right, I can accept it. I can accept. I can accept it.
I feel like 6 points behind you.
I know. I can accept it.
It may be a pity point, but it's fine.
It is a pity point.
Hey, if an elf team is an S, that's fine. That's fine. I'm cool with this.
I have seen them do really well the past few tournaments.
They're really good.
I'm pretty sure. You know James Robinson, Orion.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably playing Giacomo and Beer not to put any elf team in S tiers in any more tier rankings and only chaos teams up there. I'm pretty sure James Robinson is behind some of this devious madness.
I mean, all the chaos teams I've put in have been, except Blooded, have been in B and lower.
That's fair. That's fair.
Gellerpox is up there, but I'm here, so that's a bias.
Yeah, he's the wrench.
Mm-hmm.
A wrench.
Well, to be fair, that is specifically
joke.
My little slot on the tier list anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Scout Squad. Okay. I still think they need 10 models, personally.
Let's see where they were.
Emboldened Aspirant was a cool change.
Scout Squad D tier.
Yeah.
Sub 40.
It was a cool change.
They won one event, so they're not awful. They can still be piloted pretty well.
Yeah, and I do like the traps. Like you can set up a good board. Maybe.
But do they still even beat AOD?
Yeah, I think they definitely can.
Let's see. If they have 10 wounds each, it would take 2 critical hits from a chainsword to kill you. Or you shoot them, charge, and then you kill them. But they're probably hiding because that's what you do with scouts: is you hide. You play KG. You do get the missile and the heavy bolter, but the bipod isn't nearly as crazy. I think these guys are still. I think they're still sitting in C for me. Yeah, they beat Angels of Death, sure, but I don't know if they're beating Legionaries or Nemesis Claw. I don't think they're beating the elf teams anytime soon.
For me, I'm going to put them in D tier. I don't think that they're going to be picked up enough by the majority of the player base. I think the majority of the player base agrees with you that they need +1 more model, or they need to get their power weapons back. One of the two. I don't think that the team is interesting in a way, but there's just so many more interesting mechanics rather than just like, hey, I scout step really good. Really good. Like they just don't seem very, I mean, they're a cool team, right? They're functionally good, but the only time that I've ever seen them be really successful was last edition, and they were extremely aggressive turning point 1 when they had all of their extra buffs, you know, like they really win turning point 1. But the problem is that turning point 1 doesn't really exist anymore. Right. So they've been struggling to kind of find their place in all of this madness. They released rather poor. The only time that they ever were good is when they went up to +1 model and power weapons. Ever since then, they've been D for I was going to say DS word, but I'm not going to say that. They haven't been very good, you know?
Well, I mean, they still have access to recon, so that's always nice, right? And they can play that pretty decently. But that's kind of it. They're 10 wounds, you know, Fellgor can still fight them pretty decently. Goremongers will fight you pretty decently. Shotguns are still nice. Bolters are still nice. It's just not enough of this really adds up to them taking it over the top. But I don't think they're in D. I think they're still falling in C. That's what I think. So I'm going C, and you're going D?
I'm going D.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go C for this. There he goes. So, like Giacomo said, when you look at the D tier, like scouts can easily handle most of these teams on D tier. You know, their scouting steps will still apply to a lot of these teams. And a lot of their stuff doesn't just apply turn 1. Like they have the +1 APL, the -1 APL, you know, the triple arms or whatever they are. They still go for turn 2.
I don't disagree with you. I just think that they have a 35% win rate for a reason. You know, like ultimately, I think I agree. I think that they're better than all the stats say, you know, I think they are. I think they're a much better team, but no one wants to play them.
Yeah, which comes at a point, right, where stats are, it can come into conjecture, where it's like, just because nobody wants to play them doesn't mean they're bad.
True,
you know,
I agree.
If that were the case, we would be taking Gellerpox into D tier, because they would have 0 games. Because
you're not wrong. But somebody wants to play them, and that person's very good.
Sure, I just, you know, no matter what it is, right? You know, it's all about perspective. If there were some diehard, you know, scout fans out there, they might have a higher win rate. Yeah, I look at the theoretical potential that they can pull off.
That's fair.
I think is at least above the Kasrkins.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I've never beaten scouts with Kasrkin.
I think C is a very good position for like an overall strength of schedule for them. They're stronger than their stats show for sure.
Yes, they're still Marines. They're still Space Marines. Their leader can double shoot, double fight. Brood Brothers. Okay, they got a nerf.
Mm-hmm.
They got a couple,
and
nerfs.
They got a couple nerfs. Their main nerf, the 2 main nerfs that I can think of, is on the Magus and on the other hero. I forget what his name is. The guy with the pistol. Where he can do one of the things once per game now instead of all the time. And the Magus is now you have to pick one for everyone to get. And here's the thing. I don't think it mattered. You could still take the Magus and be like, all right, this turning point, or you're not playing a team that has piercing. I never have to worry about piercing then. So I'm never going to use the piercing ability. The banner thing that got nerfed where you have to see them now. Okay, you just got to play fair. You can do that. You can figure that out. That's not a problem. He doesn't just automatically go in the center of the board and make your big 6-inch bubble anymore.
Objectively worse in Volcus. Like
works.
You have to use your barricades now. You can't necessarily just hide a model behind a door and then have a 6-inch bubble of no death. You know, it is a bigger nerf than people think, you know, just because of that. But that doesn't mean that you can't put that model to the side of one. So he has vision of a bunch of models, right? So there's still ways to play around it. Right. But it is objectively a lot worse than it used to be. I think it's a relatively decent nerf. I just don't know how often. I would say is a pretty big nerf. It's probably I wouldn't say bigger than the Magus. I wouldn't say it's bigger than the Magus, but I do think it's a pretty big nerf.
There is one more nerf the team took as well, where you cannot use Insidious turning point 1, which is
to do the dash. Yeah.
2-inch climbs.
So when we look at these things, so any first turn dashes, any banners,
that's
and
right,
anyone who can retain stuff, those are like big three things that are getting taken away from every team. Banners got all put in line, so the same thing with Sanctifiers, their banner got put in line. You can't do the first turn Alpha Strike. That's fine. Good players aren't going to try to expose themselves. They're going to wait turn 2 to do it now. They'll figure it out, right? People, we talked about this once where we said Sanctifiers losing the lead the procession early ability. It's not a problem, actually. You just wait to do it now, one more turn. So you have a better setup time, or maybe just a little bit more thinking. It's not that big of a deal. And with the Magus not really taking that big of a hit, because you can still just apply the I don't subtract APL for most of the turns and you're going to be fine. And Crossfire is still pretty good. I still think they're still S tier for me.
I'm going to say A tier. I think the nerfs are going to affect them, but I don't think that they're going to be too bad. I mean, they might get better just because elites are worse, right? But I do think the Magus nerf is quite large. I just don't foresee Brood Brothers like winning everything. They could. They definitely have the possibility. They are a very, very strong team. I would have liked to see like Ruthless Efficiency. I think Ruthless Efficiency is just way too cheesy, but I don't think that they're played for a reason out in California. But what do you think, Orion?
Real quick, also, like the Magus can still shoot super far and doesn't have to deal with it, just has to look at you. Like that, something that could have been changed and would have actually really hurt them.
True.
But that's not true. Gone. So whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest thing for the Magus was its versatility for being able to have all of those things up at once. That's nice. But like the Mind Blast, which just targets people even if they're in melee, to just smack them with mortal wounds, that remained unchanged. If I look at you funny, -1 APL, another really incredible thing. Those are the things that if those got hit, I think would really hurt the power of this team. The rest of it is just you have to make smarter choices. It's not as crazy as I don't have to think at all. But for a lot of teams, like if you're going against Vespids, for example, like you're just negating piercing the entire time. And then functionally, there was no nerf. For some teams that are more versatile, like, Plague Marines or let's just say Scouts, because Scouts can minus APL, they can use piercing, and they can do enough damage to injure your guys with 4/4 shotguns. Then it becomes a little more tricky. But overall, I think Brood Brothers are still pretty fine. And I think they're going to, because everything else came down with them. It's not like they stayed at the top while everything went down, or they got a buff to go up to the top. But I think on the East Coast here, we do see a good amount of them, and they are a pretty relevant team. So I would be having them in S tier.
All right.
Which is fair. I think A wasn't a bad choice either, though.
It's not. No, I could see either way, and we'll have to see just how the nerfs really change it. But personally, I don't think it moves the needle enough. Every person I talked to who played Brood Bros was like, "Yeah, fair. I'm still going to play them though. I'm still going to be trash."
Because it didn't just stop me.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing for me. But I have a different team that I think is going to rise and beat the crap out of them here, and we'll get to them soon enough. Ooh. Giacomo.
Oh, okay. So we have our other elf team. Yeah, I don't know a thing about these guys.
Yegirs?
Yeah, I don't know anything about them anymore. I knew they had the Bombast was cool, and our friend Anthony played them once. Different Anthony. We have a bunch of Anthonys.
Let's see what our Patreon chat, they're watching this live currently. Let's see if any of them have any kind of insight.
We're phoning a friend here.
Yeah, phone home, everyone. We're gonna see what these guys have to say. If you're watching and you have a take on Yegirs, let us know. I do know that there's a pretty good Yeager player who is one of our patrons, Sean, but I don't think he's watching. He was at one point in time.
I just don't know.
David is saying that supposedly we severely underrate his ability to make bad choices. Okay, I don't know what they're talking about, but they are chatting up a storm. I don't think
Giacomo, ready to lose a point here. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm ready. I'm just gonna throw a dart and see what sticks. C tier. Why not?
Where were these guys last time? This last time's tier list is not helping me at all. Yegirs. Oh, they're in C tier last time. Darn it. I have to get a point.
What a
I have
guess.
to gain points at this point in time. I have to, right? Do they raise in power because elites are stronger? Or do I just try and play the long con and try to beat Giacomo the rest of this time? I've already lost enough points trying to get points up on Giacomo. I can't talk myself out of it. I guess I have to stay in C tier. I don't think they're getting drastically better or worse. You know?
And Giacomo, what did you say they're placed in?
C. I took an absolute guess.
You know what's crazy is I think this team, like when I first read the rules, I thought they were the most busted team in all of Kill Team because they had like 4-inch out like dashes at the beginning, and that's just never been the case.
Mines.
Yeah, but the problem is like elites existed and elites just ate them for breakfast.
Yeah.
Do I think that elites are bad enough for Yegirs to be good now? And the answer is no. I still think Yegirs need something just like their little brothers, Salvagers. I think I'm going to keep them in C tier. Maybe top of C tier.
Yeah, no, I think I'd say like bottom of C tier, like C to D, realistically.
Sorry, dwarves. D for dwarves.
D for dwarves.
Yeah, so I'd be potentially more inclined to put them in D just because I think a lot of their problems haven't changed no matter what the meta does, which is they just don't know how to score. And then Raveners being thrown into the mix now is just like...
Oh, you're right. I forgot about Raveners for one pick.
Yeah, Raveners...
That's one of the most important things to think.
Well, it's one of the things for them because Raveners get around Stalwart Defense. If they pop up from a burrow, they just break Stalwart Defense because they didn't meet the conditions for it. So they can just pop up and kill a guy, and then you can't shoot them with Stalwart Defense.
Amazing.
Dang. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Well, again, I don't know the team, so.
So are we put them in C or D now, G?
I think we're still probably fine with C.
Yeah, you guys both said C. I'd probably lean more
fair.
towards D, but either one's fine with me.
That's fair.
They do have some cool tools, and I think they do have some of the most fun matchups, depending on certain teams that they're playing against.
Yeah, they're a pretty fun team to play.
Yeah,
they're
just
just
a slot
not...
machine. Because you have the 3 mines, and you're like, which one is the bomb?
Yeah, like I actively play with one of our teammates who he doesn't look at which ones he puts down. So he just like puts them somewhere. He's like, well, we'll find out together which one's live.
It's the best way to play. When
That's
you're not
fair.
practicing for competitive games, it's different.
I mean, it's great because you really don't know which one's real, and it's just like you can't kind of game like, well, would you put one here? Really? It's like, I don't know which one he would put there.
You watch me shuffle. Turns out they're all bombs. You cheating the whole time. Yeah. Okay. The C feels fine. Chaos Cults. I think these guys are A. They do the cool thing where it's like, all right, I need to become a mutant over here. Just kidding. I actually need to become one over here. The Torment has to come up right here now. They still do pretty good in melee. People that would fight them, which are like elites, are taking a bit of a hit. So one of the main things, the mutations are cool. And that Mind Witch could still do the Mind Witch thing. Yeah. I think Dakota a long time ago convinced me.
I'm probably gonna lose a point here, but I'm gonna put him in S tier.
Wow.
If I was playing competitively, I would be taking Sanctifiers or Chaos Cult. If I'm going to Nova, right, and I'm gonna bring Mono Scorpions, at this point in time, because AOD are dead to me. My half finished teamed over here. Chaos Cult, I think, is a really, really, really strong competitive team. I think that they can score really well. I think they have a lot of great play into a lot of teams. Nerfing Marines just helps them. They were already on the cusp. They're at a 54% win rate for the last patch. They only have, I think, 1 tournament win. I don't remember off the top of my head. You guys can correct me in the comments. But I think that Chaos Cult's just really, really good. And it would probably be a team that I would take to Nova because I think that it counters enough things in the meta that I think that it could possibly win. So, yeah.
So S tier.
I would put in S tier. Yeah.
S tier. You'd be
One
right.
of my more. Oh,
You'd be
one of
right.
my more confident ones is what I'd say.
I would agree with you. I think a lot of the
All
things
right.
that come down just got nerfed. And then a lot of the teams that are rising up, they're going to be able to handle. With elites kind of going down a little bit. And again, it's not like they're gone, right? It's not like elites are dead. But one of the biggest things is elites could really break into the cultists and start double tapping cultists before they could really get the torments going off. Now, for a lot of these other teams are really good at doing these unfair 1-for-1 trades, where it's like, oh, one guy will kill one dude without like any risk. But Cult's okay with that. Like losing one guy at a time isn't that big at all for them. They can't survive when you do the double taps. Now, one thing notably is Goremongers, I think, have a very good matchup into Cult because they break into their lines before the torments can actually like start developing. And like Goremongers have the best way to snipe mutants before they turn into torments.
I think it's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think with the caveat of like Goremongers in there, and if anyone would ever play Gellerpox, Gellerpox do beat Cult.
They do.
But nobody does that. So
yeah. I would agree. I think that Gellerpox has a really good matchup into them, but I do think...
I didn't give you a point.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got one.
You did it.
What do you think about it?
A controversial one at that.
Yeah. I hate this team personally, so I would put him in D, but I'd put him in, throw him away. But realistically, they're pretty strong. They're an A tier. They can take enough different dudes that give them just a little more stuff to kit them out, right? You have options. Anything I think that has a bunch of options to deal with different teams is at least an A tier, right? Should be an A tier, I think. So this is one of the teams that has enough of those tools that really can figure out what to do, which actually is kind of lore fitting for Inquisition, even though I think the team itself is inherently not good for the game. Inquisition, I'm putting in A.
Inquisition, I'm going to put an S. I think it's one of the strongest teams in the game, period. I think they've been going under the radar for quite some time. I think Breacher's buff, they don't really need, but they could use it in certain matchups. I think Inquisition can deal with Brood Brothers, now that the Magus ploy, they can just say nope on one of the times that they have to play it, right? I think the team's always been very, very good. I think that it recently fell to a 35% win rate because no one was playing it. But now that elites are out of the meta, which they kind of struggled into elites, surprisingly, they're just better off in every aspect. They are a very competitive, very strong team. The hardest thing about the team is playing them correctly, right? But I think I think this team could easily be above a 55% win rate if there's just a few of the top tier competitive players that start to bring the team. And I think the time is now. I just think it's a really good faction in the game. And I don't disagree with the A tier, but my pick would be S tier. The only reason why I don't play them is because their leader has a book and the book is dumb.
Oh my goodness. Dakota with the back-to-back. Yeah, I also have them in S tier.
Nice.
That's crazy. Yeah, I could easily see them being in A tier because, again, they do have a shitty win rate right now. But I think that's just because anyone who was playing them just wanted to play Sanctifiers instead.
Yep.
That's kind of why I look at those two teams. It's like there's teams that do their stuff better, and so you're going to see more players pick them.
See, I don't necessarily think
they're still S. You're still kind of right in that regard, right? Just because someone's going to pick a team that might do what their playstyle is better doesn't mean a team is inherently like absolutely that bad, right? Not always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you could make the argument where it goes down to A, but I don't even think it does. Sanctifiers just do it better. I think they just do it different. Like Sanctifiers have a lot more aggressive play, as to where Inquisition is a lot more cagey
and defensive.
Mm-hmm. But both have their value to it, and I think just Inquisition, people are so tired of it because it's really a hard team to play because you have to think a lot about your roster choices. You have to bring a lot of models around, and it's just draining on you and your opponent. I think a lot of times, but the team is still good. I think just people just didn't want to play them.
Yeah, it's fair. I'm going to start these guys off now. These next ones, we're going to Volcus season here. We're going to go with Battleclade. Battleclade, I'm going to put a solid A tier. I think the one problem with Battleclade, I saw this at a recent event, is there's going to be a lot of Battleclades, and you're going to run into a lot of other Battleclades. And it's a very tiring matchup for your mind. So like beyond any other team, this team is going to give you the most brain rot, the most brain fatigue out of any other team, especially when you have to play into each other. I think the team is absolutely amazing. It could be an S tier, but I feel like the chess game that you have to play with yourself is much like when I lost my mind with Nemesis Claw. You know, you just lose it. Tacoma, if anyone was following Tacoma, I was watching Dylan Boyd, he went 4-0 day 1 and 0-3 day 2. And I think it's not because the competition was harder. I just think that the team is just functionally difficult to pilot at that same level multiple days in a row without a break. I think the team is very difficult. I talked to Alex Squires after the event to see how he did. He played multiple games of Battleclade versus Battleclade, and it was just objectively difficult to always make sure you're doing the right thing. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the team. I just don't think that you can play a 9-round, a 7-round, a 6-round tournament effectively with the team in order to get those wins, unless if you're a very special person. A tier.
S tier.
S tier.
I said S. It has all the same issues that you just mentioned that Inquisition has. You'd have the same problem with fatigue for the team. But Battleclade has some really cool tricks. Obviously, myself, I'm not nearly as good. But being able to be like, this is how I set up and you thought that was right is wrong because I'm actually going to do this and switch around where I actually see where you're going to go. And I'm starting to read where you're going to start making your moves ahead of time. Because an experienced player will understand the setups. So then you know to like just totally throw your opponent off because they're not 100% sure what you're going to do. Network counteracting is pretty strong. You can have dudes who are just sitting in the back, like we're not actually really doing anything. So you can have my APL and not having to worry about like, I need to see you. I need to be within 6 inches. I just do it. And comms device on those 2 guys just increase their range for that stuff. It's crazy. You also have the remote access. So you get within 4 inches of an objective, turn it on, take it. It's yours. You don't have to worry about having the objective itself. Your melee is okay because you have a lot of stuff that can give you the shock and stun. It might just be shock. I might be getting that wrong.
It's severe and shock if you're Italian.
Severe and shock. That's what it is. So you can do that, which is pretty strong. And you have 2 options of AP2. You have the laser guy, and you can take the laser gun, and you can you could just take all straight flamethrowers if you wanted, which I hear is pretty good.
It is good.
Well, that's what I mean, but like 3 in the sense of like where everyone else is just 1-1-1. Right. So you could take 3 flamethrowers if you wanted, which is still pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree. I think that I'd be willing to put them in S tier next time, but I don't think that players are going to be good enough with the team and have that functionality until the next data slate after they've been out for another 3 months. And then people that have been maining them will start to just crush events and stuff like that. And then we'll start to see nerfs coming, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess there's always that point, right? But right now there was no direct nerf to them. So I don't really see why they would struggle as much. Like I think very good players know what to do, right? They're practicing their battle plans. They're figuring it out. This happened in 40K when they were dominant too. They were also a headache, and you'd have people who bring out binders and like this is how I do this, this is how I do this. But you can set yourself up to be successful in that regard, and you would know like this stuff, right? And we're assuming good players are going to do that. I still think they're S for that reason.
I'm going to be the oddball out here, aren't I? This team sucks. This team.
Damn.
All right.
So I speak on that as I have been playing Battleclade. Like I have I think 5 games in with them currently. So again, not like a expert or anything like that, but I have this team in C tier. And part of the reason is because the mental fatigue is tough on this team, and you spend so much time thinking about what you could do when you could just do what any other team does and just, like double shoot somebody. Like they are inherently way more contradictory than any other team in the game. And I think a lot of times that just ends up being a detriment more than anything, because you're spending way too much time overthinking what is the simplest play. Because you're like, oh, but I could just use one APL here and then network counteract over here, or I could use my Underseer to force this guy to dash and then do the network counteract here. But then I don't want to activate him first because then it's this whole thing. And like complication is one thing, where if the team is complicated but the reward is high, that's one thing. But this team all of that goes out the window if you're playing against a team that out activates you. Because if you're playing against a team that out activates you, all you can kind of do is set up and hope they walk into network counteracts. But if they don't do that, then the team takes the tempo and then they just start sniping combat servitors one by one. If you start losing the combat servitors, you're only left with 3 guys who realistically can't shoot, and then heavy idiots who can only dash and shoot, and they don't even have blast weapons. So it's not like they can take advantageous trades to catch you up in the game. You end up playing very reactionary and relying on like no dice rolls to whiff.
That's fascinating. Yeah. I mean, that's a really interesting take. That's something that I have never thought of about the team,
Separately, separately, they cannot be goremongers at all. And they have the melee theoretically to shut them down, but combined with like Incantation of the Iron Soul for the 5-up Feel No Pains. But if a goremonger gets like 3 hits on you, your Severe and Shock is not going to save you. You have to nail both of your 5-up incantations, and that's not going to happen all the time. Which means one aspirant realistically can kill 1 combat servitor, take 4 damage, heal, charge into the next combat servitor, rake him so you guarantee the kill. That way Incantation of the Iron Soul doesn't even work. Kill that guy, assuming you roll 3 dice, which is not hard to do on 3-ups. And then all of a sudden, 1 goremonger has killed 2 of your combat servitors, and now you have a bunch of guys who are supposed to support the combat servitors.
I mean, I could see them being bad into Raveners too,
Yeah, it's a similar thing. They really struggle into any competent melee threats, and they also just struggle into anything that activates them, especially if it's by a significant margin, because a lot of the time they're going to have to be on conceal, and that limits their actual potential to do certain things. Even if you can network counteract to engage, it's still not as effective because you essentially just have to pass with a lot of your actions turn 2.
I mean, it's good arguments. G, does Orion change your thought process? Do you still think they're just S?
They probably go down to A.
Yeah, I do not think they're S in any capacity. There's nothing they're doing that is unfair. And that's where I look at a lot of S tier teams.
That's fair.
Okay, I think that's a pretty good way to judge that. I mean, damn, S fair, not fair team. I do believe that people who are actually who think a lot less when they're playing games will probably do better with the team, because they're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do that, and that's probably going to be the right move, and then you just don't do anything else with it.
They could be a very reactionary based team too, instead of trying to be
the smart guy,
I don't disagree. Like, I'd probably put them in B tier if we didn't,
So we'll have to see. Maybe someone really figures out the secret sauce with them. I, for one, I think they're too big brained for their britches.
You need a mechanical brain.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong. Yeah. They just need an AI program to tell them how to play.
To play the game.
Dakota does get the points on that.
He gets the point for that one.
He does. He was the closest.
Nice.
I'm catching back up. I'm catching up, everyone.
Heck yeah.
That was 3 in a row.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I'm going to lose a point on this one. Raveners, S tier, straight up. I think that they are possibly one of the best, possibly if not the best elite team in the game. I don't really, obviously it's too early for them to take a nerf. They were already really good. They were scared of Contagion. They were scared of Dueler. They're no longer, right? They can beat up all these teams. And if they don't want to interact with you, guess what? They don't have to. They can hide in the hole. They're the better Nemesis Claw. They are Nemesis Claw if they were just bigger and stronger. Yeah, they're like, hey, Nemesis Claw is like, oh, you can't see me unless you're within 8 inches or I'm obscured. These guys are just like, I'm not on the board. Like, you literally can't shoot me. And if I'm almost dead, I could fall back into my tunnel and live. On Into the Dark, they're absolutely disgusting because you can just do light cover while on it, so you just can't get shot. You can go like it's just, they have permanent barriers everywhere. You can go through every single wall. Like, you can like go into every single room and just be everywhere, or you can just dominate one side of the board and then just control your home objective with one guy. I was talking to Janice. Janice just took second place at an event. Congratulations, Janice. And she just at a 20-something person event with Raveners, she just kept her Tyrannid Prime on her home base. Anyone that wants to come and tap the point has to spend 2 extra APL, and then they're probably going to die, right? The team is ridiculous. The team is busted. The team is difficult to play. And I have seen multiple people play the team relatively poorly, but I think this team is going to have a faster learning curve than Clade. And not only that, the team is probably the most fun team to play in the game outside of Wreka Krew, right? You just get to run around with 5 dudes and do whatever you want. And if you want to hide, you can, S tier for sure for me. Giacomo, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, we've discussed this before. It's hard to kill something that's not on the board. It's actually impossible. Yeah. So like, if you think there's a couple turns where they're going to do a setup and try to shoot you, like, nah.
There is one way to kill something that's not on the board. Turning point 4.
Turn 4.
Yeah, turning point 4. If the Patriarch shoves them down into the hole, that will actually kill them.
There you go,
Poison
Brood Brothers. You have the one chance.
Yeah.
Poison too. Yeah, Poison can do it too.
Poison
or Blaze. Blaze.
Do conditions stay if you're on the board?
I think so.
Yeah, they do. Like,
because you still have to activate.
You're still poisoned. Yeah.
Yeah, you still have to activate while you're in the hole. Yeah. We both said S tier.
I think S is still fine.
Yeah.
So
Ryan, what do you think?
S could be correct. I have them at like high tier. Because there's one thing you are missing from your description of Raveners, and that is they can't play the crit up.
They are rather poor at the crit up.
Yeah. Any team that can play the crit up well, like Gellerpox, Cult, like those sort of teams where they just have way too many bodies for the Raveners to chew through, they will lose out on that. They'll win on the kill up, but they're going to lose usually pretty heavily handed on the crit up, which is why I'm hesitant to put them in S tier, because there is one clear thing that they don't do well.
True.
I think with that, they're just down to S tier or A tier for me, just because they aren't quite the Jack. And they have no way to fix it. There's no way they're doing the crit up better. They just can't.
And they're just due to bodies, having just like 5 bodies.
So far,
it's having 5 bodies, and they're not even on the board for a percentage of the time.
That's true. If you choose to hide.
Control the crit up.
So far, this is the most balanced one so far. I'm going to make it so unbalanced when we do our hot takes, though. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing, Giacomo. So, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Sanctifiers is up next. I still think...
I don't think it changed.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because it's possible that they drop out of S, but I don't think it's enough. Their leaders are too good. So. They do too much stuff. They do everything. You don't need Lead the Procession to win the game with how strong the team is. And Lead the Procession is still pretty decent, It's unfortunate, but I think that they're still S tier, Unfortunately, we still have the Boogeyman sitting around. Yeah, they're still a lot of fun to play too. Orion, what do you think?
Oh, is Giacomo agreeing with S tier?
It's an S tier team. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think the needles move nearly enough for them. They've just been put in a little more in line, but they're still, their damage reduction is wildly unfair. The Pope is just
the Blaze is crazy. No one likes the Pope.
Blaze because you're going to get Blaze off.
But
well, I got nerfed, but
not
when
enough
it goes
to matter.
off,
You're going to do the damage.
More
than likely.
The only time Blaze matters is when you're playing against elites. Otherwise, you kill everything. like with the flamers. It doesn't really matter. Like, why do they even need blaze as a mechanic? They shouldn't even have it as a team. It should just be removed from the team completely. They already have damage reduction. Why do they also need more damage? It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's not a fun team to play against, but it's a very fun team to play as. It's very unfortunate. Goremongers are up next. I'm going to put them in probably an A tier. I think that they're a really, really strong team. They crush pretty much a lot of teams. They play everything pretty well. They did get a pretty hefty nerf with their heals. You know, they heal on average, instead of healing 6 wounds, they're on average healing 4. So it's not like a giant nerf, but it is a nerf. So they will go down rather more regularly. But I don't think that they're going to drop to B for me.
Yeah,
I think they'll still, they could, I mean, maybe they drop to 49%, you know, because of some of the other melee teams rising up, but I think that they're going to stay probably right around 50, 51.
Yeah, you could, when a team can like reliably take a lot of aspirants and still do really good, like that's a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
What do you think, Orion?
Yep, I would agree. A tier. I think it has a few bad matchups, but they just got better. You know, like one of the big ones was Plague Marines. They had a very hard time dealing with Plague Marines.
This is by far the most balanced meta maybe we've seen. Maybe Games Workshop cooked with the balanced data slate.
Well, you know, that's assuming we're actually
we're actually correct. See you at the next data slate, guys.
I don't think we're going to have 7 teams in S tier above 55%.
No, I think
that's probably bad for the game.
Well, again,
this is probably
is theoretical, assuming everyone's playing everything equally.
Yeah,
Some of these teams could be there, but it just depends on player pick rate, and you know, pick rates on vibes.
Agreed. I really want to put Rattlings in C tier just to complete the box, you know, just to make the square, you know, of teams.
You would be correct, sir.
Yeah, but I might want to put them in D tier.
You could do that if you want, but I think C is a safe place for them. But you get a pick first.
I think I have to put them in C tier because they really struggled into elites. Even though Raveners are still there, I don't think like they're going to be that bad. So I'm gonna put them in C tier. Let's complete the box.
I'm going to tell you, I played against them with the nerfed Angels of Death, and I only lost 1 Marine.
So you're putting them in D tier or what?
No, they're still in C. That's I think that's still due to my opponent's
just baited you.
No, I think that's still due to my opponent's so they play it they try to play it more aggressive with their Ogrins, which is I think the wrong answer every time. This is a team that has to hide,
very defensive.
Takes a shot only when they can see it. You that big shot is a great ender of life. But what he really is he's a lane closer because you don't want to go down that road and just get blasted. That is the one thing you don't want, and that guy will do it to you with no problem. Their super conceal means that you're not going to get shots off. You got to get them in melee, which means melee teams are going to run up and you know they're going to be hiding. So like that's also another hard thing for them to deal with, which is where your Ogrins have to just kind of sit there and get ready to fight them off, not necessarily go fight them and then be in the open for whatever else they have to deal with. They play the mission. That larceny is cool, I guess. You can take an objective and be like, it's actually mine. And the hook guy, you know, like he's got some play. He's probably one of the few guys that should die. I mentioned that earlier. Because otherwise your other Rattlings should just be running around supporting and not getting shot. Because I don't think their mortal wounds is cool. It doesn't really do that much because you're going to other good players are going to hide and make sure they're not getting shot, or you know, hoping they don't get shot because they don't want to accidentally expose themselves. And the early warning from the dog, from Rosie in this example, right? Rosie, I think is what SIS called her.
Correct.
Is a thing you don't want to risk and then be like out in the open and get blasted, right? Because they set up and are ready to snipe you when you make that mistake, and you can't hide in melee as easy because they just go, I'm going to shoot that guy with their rules. So like. They still have enough to deal some damage to the D stuff. They're not going to lose to them, but I don't think they're actually beating out anything in A or S or even B.
Yeah, I think my rules interpretation of Rosie is even when goremongers try to do like the out of activation charges or and all those kinds of things, they are doing an activation, which then allows the dog to bark and then allows people to move and stuff. I think they still have strong mechanics, strong rules. I think the team is a lot of fun. It's a very, very fun team to pilot and play. Yeah, but I think C tier is where they go.
Ryan's yawning because he's like, it's an 18.
No, he's yawning because it's 1 a.m. at his time.
Yeah.
But he's told me he's a night owl, so he gets this.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
that's
I'm
fine.
already.
Yeah, rattlings. I don't know. They bore me. We'll say it. We'll leave it at that. I have them in D tier, just because I haven't seen them do anything good. Like they're equivalent to Kroot for me. Like there's some cool things that they have, and I think there's a lot of cool play that they theoretically can do, but they just get stomped so hard by so many teams, not even fairly in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
dude, Nemesis Claw, bro. They're so bad at Nemesis Claw. I saw so many 2 points to 21
Clad.
points.
Yeah,
2
there's
points
so
to 21.
It's insane. They just can't deal with even remotely. Like for every good matchup they have like 5 bad ones. It's a D tier for me. I don't see them getting really well at all.
That's fair.
But yep, you two said C, so go C.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
No points for anyone.
I still think that
the box.
We completed the box. Hashtag the real thing. One of us will still have our social security numbers leaked at the end of this. And then if you
want those, make sure to sign up to the Squad Games Discord.
Yeah,
exactly.
Link below or in the show notes.
Yeah. We have Wreka Krew up next. I think Wreka Krew got better with all the elites. I think they're going to move up from a 45% win rate. I think they're going to go up to A tier for me. I think they're going to jump up into the 50s. I know that that's difficult because they're a very dice dependent team. So typically they should win and lose 50% of games. And that probably means in mirror matches, they're going to drop down to a 59%. But I think the team is pretty strong. I've seen people playing them pretty well. Dueler's gone. Contagion's gone. Do I really think that they can jump up there with all these other teams that I think is coming up? No. All right, I'll keep them in B tier. I think they're going to jump up to a 49% win rate, but I don't think they're going to cross the threshold for me. But I think they are better now.
You said the word. You said the words when you mentioned B tier. They're dice dependent.
Yeah, I know.
And that is legitimate. Like,
but issue. I just talked myself out of the A tier, and now Orion's going to say they're A tier, and I'm going to be upset.
No, they're B tier. They're B tier.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting Wrekas anywhere but smack in the middle of anything.
Yeah,
all right, fair.
They can't control which matchups they win, but they will win half of them. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you'll have fun. And one of the cool things, Secret Tech, they can shoot an obscuring and not care. Mm-hmm. Because they got 6 dice with their missile launcher.
That's fair.
You're already hitting poorly, so like it's really not that big of a loss. Yep.
You just don't really get to choose who those rockets hit. Exactly. I think sometimes they go away and then they just come back into a separate game. They're just flying in the air.
Yep. Killed that guy in the back.
Somebody asked me at a recent tournament if they could teleport a Mandrake to another board. And I was like, why not? Why not? Go invade somebody else's game. You know?
In a narrative, sure. You can invade your neighbors. I think that's a fun rule. That should be a fun rule. They can teleport dudes can invade their neighbors.
Dude, that would be sick. Next up, we have Plague Marines. I think Plague Marines is a solid C for me. I don't think they got any better. I think that they were already at a 44% win rate, which is crazy to me. I think the team is better than they would be statistically. I think they'd probably still be sitting at a B. I know Giacomo is probably going to put them at a B, but I couldn't in my heart put them in B tier because I just don't see the majority of people playing them to the level that they need to be played, especially with all the contagion that they relied upon before. I think that they are going to fall to C tier because people need to relearn how to play the team, and it's going to take a while. I just don't think that I don't think they're a bad team at all. I just think that they're probably top of C.
I put them in B. Yeah, Contagion is a good hit. Absolute good hit. They still double shoot. They still have the guy. Pretty much all their guns have poison. Pretty much all of them. And poison hurts little dudes, and there's a lot of little dudes behind under them, and they'll take them out. Poison is that thing that just like it'll get you. And 5-inch movement does suck.
I still remember the day that I thought Deathcore could beat Plague Marines back at Worlds.
It was very you had delusions of grandeur. It was crazy.
That's why I lost 114 guardsmen.
And I think B tier is still safe because elites still are elites. Double shooting, double fighting is always still strong abilities.
See, I'm secretly I'm secretly still trying, G, to complete the box. So,
I'm going to keep pushing the B tier and grinding it up. I think B is where they're falling for me.
Yeah, I would agree. B is not where they're at.
I knew I was losing a point there.
They've never crossed into S tier for me. They've always been in A. With Contagion nerf, it's objectively wrong to say that they wouldn't drop a little bit from that. They're still going to be a good team. They can still, easily punch up with all of the teams above them. But Contagion will be something where people might not even play it because they're worried that it won't come into effect. And then that might be the wrong choice, or vice versa, where you're just wasting CP on it and it's not actually affecting anything. Because there's a lot of times you're playing Plague Marines where you're killing models and not poisoning anything just because you're killing them. Yep. And you don't have the option to spread poison. And then it's like, well, Contagion doesn't really do anything the whole turn if nobody got poisoned. So
it'll be... Yeah. I think Contagion or future uses of Contagion with poison is going to be good against elites where they will stay poisoned and then it'll come into effect.
I think
that's my take.
Personally with a nerf, I just don't see them going above 40. I mean, they were sitting at a 44% with a nerf. With this nerf specifically, I just don't. I'm put them in B tier, but I just don't ever see them getting up to B tier. I think like if we were doing skill wise and everyone had the same skill level, sure, yeah, they'd probably be in B tier. But overall, like every player, like I just can't see them getting any better.
They still reduce damage and they can still heal. That's one of the few elite teams that does heal. Them and Phobos.
They still
Legionaries.
They still have Lumbering Death. That's the big one for me. Where
Lumbering Death is crazy.
Marines is just the best. Yeah. No other Marine team has that level of consistency.
I'm throwing away the possible advantage that I possibly got to Giacomo.
Okay. Just you're gonna say it.
Is Angels of Dead. They are dead. They are going into D tier where they belong. They do not belong in A tier for Angels, but they belong in the Death tier. They are a dead team, a dead faction. It has nothing to do with the half beautiful Lieutenants of Death team that I have sitting next to me. I am not biased. The team sucks. They're awful. Dueler was the only thing that propped them up on their two tiny little legs. They had a 41% win rate before. Dueler's gone. The sergeants are gone. A lot of people relied on those two things. I easily think this team can drop another 2 percentage points. I think they drop down to at least a 39, probably 35% win rate. If you're taking these guys to a tournament, I easily see them going either 2-2, 1-3, or 0-4. I just don't think that the team has the legs anymore, even though they're Space Marines, Giacomo. I just disagree. I disagree. Okay. D tier for me.
I like that you disagree because I'm going to say they're in B tier. They are as
you think they're going to raise up 4 percentage points and get better.
That's what I think. People will underestimate that, right? I think Dueler, any rules like this can become a crutch. And I'm not saying I wish I didn't have it because I absolutely want Dueler. I want the ability to do that. It was amazing. But like any other team, like that has more abilities, you'll find the next one that works and you'll find the way to play them. Double shooting is still double shooting when you put on everyone, and they all can have piercing 1, right? You just roll the crit. And I said it in the last one where it sucked that you couldn't get the Sergeant's ability to do the rerolls as often for free. You can only do it once. You only need it like 1 or 2 turns anyways. You're not nearly as CP starved as I thought you were going to be because I tried it out and it wasn't that bad.
So Giacomo, let me tell you this. What if Tomb World comes out before the next data slate. Let's just think, okay? And
Mhm.
every single person and their mom drops AOD to start playing this new Death Watch team. I think this team is going to tank so hard. In fact, I think AOD is worse now than it was in the last edition.
I don't think so. Wrath of Vengeance is still good. Getting to
do it
two
once, just once per.
You only need it once to do it. To just be able to be like, charge. All right, fall back, and I'm actually safe now because I killed the dude in assault, and I was able to fall back. Now I can't get shot. I'm not in the open anymore. There's all these little tricks to do, and guess what? You don't have to use the equipment to do Wrath of Vengeance. You could just do it. You only just get it for free if you're unengaged. But if you get charged and they don't kill you, you're a conceal. You could do that because I did that, and it works. Like, these are still tools. Now, obviously, it's not like I'm dominating, but like I still can do a lot of stuff on the way there. There's still Space Marines, and I can still have.
Deathcore does not fear charging them. Fellgor does not fear charging them. Mandrakes no longer feel charging them. Ratlings don't even fear charging them. You know, maybe not. Maybe Ratlings do.
You adjust your game and you don't play Seek and Destroy. You play defensively because they have security, and you can be okay securing a point and just playing the ranged game and having your melee dudes there when you need the extra boost. It still all works. Captain's still strong if you want to take him for the one time, ignore everything, and like, you know, they thought they had you, they don't have you. Like, those are still things you have in your toolkit. I still feel like they're in B.
The worst way to play the team was to bring the captain, and now the only way to play the team is to bring the captain. I mean,
also not true. The sergeant's ability still is relevant. You just can't use it every turn anymore. So maybe you don't get a few extra rerolls. Not the end of the world. You know what thing I forget to do all the time, which I'll have to be better about, is purity seals. Throw 2 away. Now I have 1 that's fine.
See, here's the thing, everyone listening to the podcast, everyone listening to this YouTube, we are both very big Space Marine fanboys.
Huge.
We both really like Space Marines. I think the game is the best when Space Marines are dead center B, because it's a great faction for you to bring up. It's a great faction for starters to start with, right? Objectively, I am very negative on the team because I don't think that they are there anymore. I think that they were there for quite some time, but now, like, as a faction team, they like, and it's not just Dueler. Like, everyone like is like saying like, oh, you guys are asinine. Somebody's called us asinine because we wanted Dueler to remain the same. You could still nerf Dueler to work once per turn. You could nerf Dueler to be like, hey, you can double parry once in a turn and you can block a crit once in a turn, right? You could do so many different things to Dueler, but then just to completely remove the double parry from objectively the most like iconically best fighting machine in the universe of 40K that can just run up and just nuke anything it can with a chainsword is absolutely ridiculous. Like, these guys should be absolute monsters, fast tanks running around doing whatever, you know, like, I think that, like, ultimately I want the game to be where Angels of Death are good. They took so much away from Angels of Death and gave them nothing. They gave them a 5-inch move on a heavy intercessor, right? Like, if they gave them a different buff, I wouldn't be this upset. I'm upset because AOD, I feel, are dead.
Really going off.
Yeah, he's really going in. I still think they're fine. Rending is still a good thing if you take aggressive. Like, I was getting rending off every turn. You're rolling 5 dice in melee. That's two criticals, which my opponent ain't stopping. And that's going to kill most of the other stuff. You know, 5 is still 5 damage. And God forbid you get it on the captain who's doing 7 damage a hit. Or if you improve your damage just a little more, you know, just those little things are still tools.
You know, our next battle report, Giacomo, should be Raveners versus your AOD. And let's
we should. I think that should be fun.
Let's see how you feel.
I think we'll probably lose it, but I think I like it. I'll still play it. That's what you got to do, right? You adapt or you die, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
What do you think, Orion?
So we've talked about this previously, and knowing my stance on Angels of Death, you still chose D tier, which shows your commitment to how you think this is, because you have willingly thrown a point away.
I did.
Because you know I value them still pretty high. Because people
value my integrity over my social security.
People around me were not playing Dueler all that often and doing fine with the team. They weren't doing amazing, but they're doing fine with it. And I think it's I think they're gonna stay relatively where they are. I think the Dueler change isn't going. I don't think Dueler was the thing keeping them so positive or in the green. That it was just like detrimental that they've lost.
But it's also the Sergeant nerf, right? It's not just Dueler. They just nuked everything about. They just nuked.
Yeah, like the Sergeant nerf's equivalent to
not that bad.
It's equivalent to like the WarpCoven sorcerers getting -1 dice plus balanced. Like
That's
it's not that bad.
Because now you just have to know when to use it, right? Like I had to correct myself when I was playing my opponent. Like, wait, I actually can't take tactical. I already used that earlier. I'll spend the command point to take tactical now, which it wasn't too bad.
I
didn't get a reroll, but I still killed him with rending.
A 41% win rate team get 2 nerfs.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm sure there's other teams that are just as equal, which might be skewing some of their plays. But more new people are probably playing Angels of Death than any other team, even if there's other teams that are more popular.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Because it's like the one that your buddy's like, I own, or here's some Marines that I gave you. You can play the game now.
But you also don't see the top of the meta people also playing AOD.
Right. That's why I said the most new players, because the most new players are probably playing Space Marines, or the fanboys like myself, who are like, I'm still going to play my Space Marines to the death. And, we play them anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is a caveat to this, which Dakota is correct about. Whenever the, Deathwatch kill team comes out, that will really tank Angels of Death.
Yeah, I'm probably going to jump there myself. So
there's no way.
I'm not lying either. I wanted Deathwatch since first edition back in old one, because that's what I used to play back in 2018 Kill Team.
Of course, they're cool as hell. Like everyone wants.
Cool as hell. I've been waiting for them forever. So
Eldrad has guided me to know exactly where this team is going to lie at the end of this data slate. That's in the D tier. You guys can disagree if you want.
I like how this was our longest conversation for like a team that realistically
has the littlest to talk about. Yeah,
has the littlest to talk about. We just have that much passion for our Marines.
We do.
So they fall in the middle. Then we put them.
I didn't even hear Orion where you put them.
Oh no, I have them in B.
I had said earlier, I don't think any Marine teams are going to fall below B. Inherently, just because that's what it leads to.
Stats. Again, there is the caveat where if we're looking at player placing or players taking them in general, then they would probably fall down to D tier because the people just won't play them.
Yeah, that is the truth, right? And we know that real players, and we know that good players are playing a better elite team. But it doesn't mean that Angels of Death are bad, right? If we assumed if we gave, I don't actually know that one. Never mind. Forget what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Ignore me. Yep. You could still
Next
finish
up
them.
Is Aquilions. Yeah, I'll finish them when I find out the rules for Deathwatch. Aquilons coming up next. I have seen a rise in popularity for the team. I think the team is getting a lot better. I think that this is one of the biggest glow ups of the entire edition, from D tier all the way for me to S tier. They have the most faction wins as well, 7 already. Then a bunch. I think it's the tournaments, right?
Shout out to Alex Popov. I think he's one of those wins.
They have 7. He does. Yeah, he won he did win a
dude. He cleaned house. He won everything at that tournament.
Yeah, he won best painted, best sportsman, best dude. Shout out to Popov, this guy. But yeah, I mean, they have 7 tournament wins this data slate. Their win rate is also low 50s, right? Which is showing that there's a really high tier where they can get to as well. I just think that ultimately the team is going to be S tier. And I mean, there's too many teams in S tier already, but that's where I'm going to put them.
I think they're an A. They're really solid in their power, but people are going to figure out why they can beat them and figure out counterplay, because they're still just 8 wounds. Not to say that their ability to like the hot drop and do all that stuff isn't strong, because it absolutely is. But I think once you've used it, and maybe if like you're playing against Raveners, like you could just hide for the turn. They're going to try to do the hot drop, and like, all right, it's not happening this round. I got you. There's little tricks you can do to kind of overpass them. But I do think there are enough bodies now that there are 11 bodies to have enough control on the board with being able to fly is the way they can. I think they're an A, which is still really strong.
And Raveners are a very fun match to watch.
Yeah, they both are. Maybe we'll do that one too. I get to finish. That means I have to finish my final Aquilon.
Yeah, fun might be a stretch, but
no, you know what the best match is? Ravener versus Ravener, when you can go into each other's tunnels. That's the match. Yeah.
All tunnels all day.
Going into each other's tunnels is definitely not the statement I was expecting.
It only is if you're thinking that way, sir.
Always thinking that way. What are you talking about?
I like that. We're going to play Tunnel Explorer. This is my Ravener.
Ooh. Call that the tremor site. Gross. Anyway, I put him in B. I think a lot of the wins this team has gotten is because people aren't respecting their mechanic. They're not really used to seeing this team, do what it does. And now that it's doing what it does, people are like, oh crap, I had to pay attention to where you were dropping. What do you mean you're just getting relentless because you just came from the sky and killed you? Like, people weren't familiar with Tempestus, and I think it's going to take some time for people to actually adjust with them being a competent team. I don't think they're all the way in S by any means. Like, they're very predictable where they can drop if you know how to play against them. And there's nothing.
They almost have double the win rate of like the second most winning rates of teams.
I understand what you're saying there, but I think that's a lot of just like, oh shit, we didn't know you could do that. And I think that's a lot of flash in the pan type deal.
Okay,
right. This is their big moment. Though I was still giving them A, but you're giving them B. But okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're that crazy. I think they're a well-made team currently. I don't think there's. I think they still struggle in some matchups. In my experience, every time I've played them, they have very much struggled to get anything going. But I don't know.
So they're going in A tier because that was that. Jocko gets another point. He's cleaning house.
He sure does.
Cleaning house. And then we have Vespids coming up last. This is a difficult one for me.
This is a tough
one. This is one I'm well versed on as well.
Yes, this is the one that you are most versed on. I'm probably going to put them in B tier. I don't think that they're bad. I don't think that they belong at the hip with Aquilons anymore. I think that the team is better and they're getting a lot of buzz online. People are thinking that they're going to be a lot better now that AOD and all these other teams are dropping, and that they might be pretty decent into some of these other teams. I have gotten beat by them before when I played Blades of Khaine without knowing how good Ceaseless was on Blades of Khaine. By the way, it's a take all the time. And if you don't, you're a ding dong like I was in the battle report. But that was the first time I played them. So, hey, I think Vespids are a pretty good team, but I don't think that they are crushing it. I don't think that they're going to be going crazy in the meta. I think that they're very strong, solid, 48, 47% win rate team.
Yeah, I think B is a safe place for them. They have a lot of movement because they can fly. That's huge. Like, just getting over obstacles is not a problem. Their weapons being charged when you move encourages you to keep moving forward, which is always nice. The flamer thing is nice. The little explosive they have is nice. That stealth man is nice, and their melee is deceptively decent. Like, you're thinking like they're not going to do anything, then stinger hit, and you're just like, oh, you got like shocked. It surprises you. It gets you out of nowhere. Just like the Ravener tunnels and the Raveners. You know what I'm talking about. All these
caves, surprises you.
There you go. It surprises you, but communion points still don't do quite enough to really matter as an ability. Like, it's not something I'm like totally sold on. You have enough points that you can be like, I guess I don't really need them that much. So I think Vespids fall into B. It's where I thought they would be last time. It's where I think they're still going to stay now.
Okay, that's fair. What do you think, Orion?
So there's two things that could change this for me, and I'm willing to put them in B as well. Realistically, once Phobos and specifically Harlequins go away for Classified, Vespids jump up because they cannot deal with those two teams specifically. I've found, and they're like the only teams I've actually lost to with with Vespids. Every other thing has been like a very balanced matchup or an extremely favorable matchup. Like I took them down to Rochester and I went 4-1 with the Vespids. Lost was the Harlequins, which I didn't really have much hope of winning. But like every other game I played, it was a pretty convincing win, including versus Clade, where they were tabled turn 2.
Wow.
Which again comes like that out activation mechanic, and just they're very good at beating up 7 to 8 wound models. Everything they do is like a crit and a hit theoretically will kill every one of your 7 to 8 wound models, and there's not much you can do about it unless you roll really well consistently on your defense dice, which most of those teams don't have that because Marines roll well on their defense dice. The other thing that hurts them is Into the Dark. If they play on a lot of Into the Dark, they don't do so well. But if they play on a lot of Vulcus, they do exceptionally well. They can abuse Vulcus like nobody else.
Depending on the rules depending on how popular Tomb World is, that could be a detriment to them, and depending on the rules for Tomb World, if it's anything like ITD.
Yeah, Tomb World, I have a feeling looking at them, there's a lot more light terrain, or I suspect light terrain on the boards, because there's a lot of like small rubble and stuff, which is good for them because Ocelli is really good for them, and they don't have to spend an equipment point on light barricades. It looks like a lot of the rooms are more open as well, where you don't have to go through as many doorways. There's some weird like laser doorways.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure about that, but conditionally, I think Tomb World might be better for them.
Maybe if you go through the laser doorways, you get -1 AP, and it neuters the team even worse.
Well, then then somebody can suck a fart out of my butt. But until that happens, I think they're in B. But conditionally, they can upgrade to A if they're on Vulcus.
I mean, flying.
Classified teams go away.
Flying is ridiculous.
They can play Beta Decima with no problems.
Yeah, but no one's doing that.
Yeah, but no one's really doing it. Not outside of fun.
Measuring Beta Decima, we're not measuring at all.
So now the question is, Orion, if we can remember any of your hot takes, and we move one of our teams, one of the teams to your hot take, do we get the extra point, or do we get a point for the memes? Like there has to be some sort of catch up mechanic here, Like I can
there is a catch up mechanic.
I can go get ketchup
about
in my fridge, and I can pour it on my face right now to beat John. I'm just saying, I could,
It's sugar-free ketchup.
It is.
There is a ketchup mechanic. I have been secretly noting some things throughout the episode that just made me giggle. Okay. So there are points for both of you in that regard.
Exciting.
All right.
But if you both manage to get my hot take, I guess, then if one of you gets that point, I'd say you get the extra 2 points. I don't even know what my hot take is currently.
I have a hot take, and I thought of it right when we put this team in the wrong tier.
Okay.
No.
Oh yeah.
Well, you may as well. We got to do it.
Oh yeah. I think you guys know exactly what's coming. 100%.
Yeah, Deathcore and D.
No, it's gonna be Gellerpox S tier.
Whoa! You entered and it didn't work. That's not what I was doing.
That is an interesting
I thought of
choice.
This way early in the episode, and that's because I don't think Gellerpox is going to get any more popular. I think Orion is going to take this team to Nova, possibly win the whole thing, inflate their stats even more.
And then it's going to deflate.
And according to my tier list, right, which is above 55% win rate, I think Gellerpox is going to get there because I think that Orion has figured out some kind of spice of life for Gellerpox. And maybe I'll just have Orion on the podcast again to tell everyone how he's doing so well, just to inflate their numbers so that I'm right. Okay.
It's just loaded dice. I mean, and if everyone did what I did, they just win. But
So he admits to loading his dice.
Yeah.
And what kind of thing? Like a shotgun?
load 'em.
Perhaps a slingshot of sort? What do you load it into?
Oh, my butt.
Oh, dang, that's what we're sucking out.
Yeah, we're exploring caves earlier, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm plugging my dice out.
Giacomo, where are you putting? What is your hot take?
Oh man, do I have a hot take? I actually
You
kind
have
of
to
agree
have
with
a
him.
hot take. Come on, man, for the memes. You know, you got
Okay, I have to have a
learn
hot
from
take
Alex. You know,
for the memes. Yeah, but his hot take was too extreme.
whose was
Alex.
Alex?
They would hang him on the cross. You know,
they hung us on the cross instead. You know, and he was like, I can't believe how many people don't watch your video.
Thanks, Alex.
They just look at your
no,
image and pass on, you know?
I'm
thanks,
kidding. I'm kidding. Shoot. I think we got. Everything in S tier kind of feels appropriate, though. I think Inquisition is still worse. I think they're still an A. That's my only real take, because that was the only real thing I had to stand for. Yeah, that's the only real take I had. I guess Gellerpox replaced them.
But it's valid.
It's unreal.
That was
unreal.
that was like a lukewarm take.
Yeah, it's tepid.
I'm playing the straight man here. Dakota's doing all the wild stuff.
Are you sure you don't want to do Exaction in the S tier?
Hell nah. Though you could still put that as the thumbnail and get people to be like, "What, an A tier?" And just to watch them click. Yeah, exactly. Just to watch them click and then
just replace like every other frame of like a kill team with Exaction Squad, like throughout the tier list.
That would be fun.
Yeah, so I would just put Inquisition to A. That's the only change I would make, because everything else feels pretty solid.
That's fair. Orion, do you have a hot take?
Yep.
Okay.
And now Battleclade are going down to the cringe tier.
Oh, it's a C,
down
huh?
to C. Yep.
I like it. It.
Yeah,
exciting.
I like it.
I like the team too. Like, it's not even a dig at the team. I like them. No, they're not good. Don't like it.
We are not going to order these whatsoever. It's already 3 hours long, everyone.
Yeah, no, this is where they're at.
Deal with it. Orion needs to sleep at some point. So this looks like our final.
It is tomorrow.
Unless if there's another twist that we don't know about.
Yeah, let's see.
Nope. We're going to count up the points, and one of you is going to be real sad.
Oh, I hope it's me.
All right, so we're going to go through the points in order here, in no particular order of who has more. So I have -2 points for bad take on Novitiates and bad take on Hoda.
Okay.
Giacomo, you got points for the WarpCoven, the Hierotek Circle, Hunterclade, Gellerpox, Starstriders, Fellgor, Pathfinders, Kommandos, Legionaries. Sounds like a lot, but oh god, which one is that? CS. Whose initials are CS?
Chaos Marines?
Chaos. No, it's not Chaos Marines. I don't know. I'll figure that out in a second.
CS. Okay.
Yeah, some of these are just abbreviated. Phobos, Blooded, so you're 10 with that. Kroot, Hierotek Circle, Kasrkin, Exaction, Salvagers, this is 15. Mandrakes, Nemesis Claw, Scouts, Bald Bros, Plagues, Angels of Death, and Aquilons.
Jesus, man.
So I believe that was
23 points, huh?
Oh, shit.
23? No, I don't think it was 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Amazing
17, 18, 19. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. And then you got bonus points for he made it make sense. That was at the start of the episode. 1 point for salty counter. 1 point for you wouldn't take them the worlds.
This fucking guy.
1 point for base Fire Warrior take. 1 point for that's insurance, baby. 1 point for politically correct ploy name. That was in reference to the Night Lords. And then one extra point for delusions of grandeur.
So Giacomo got a total of 30. Things are looking bleak if you chose.
We don't know yet. You could
I might
still
have to
win.
Shave my beard. My wife get mad at me,
All right, and then Dakota, you got points for Harlequins, WarpCoven.
That's it.
Like you stop.
Starstriders, Kommandos, Wyrmblade, Vetguard, Legionaries, Blooded, Breachers, Kroot, Kasrkins, Heartkin Salvagers, Blades of Khaine, Cult, Inquisition, and Clade.
16. Half of Giacomo's points. All right.
So that's 16.
I gotta make Orion laugh a lot this episode, apparently.
So you got bonus points here for hey guys, because you did listen correctly at the start when I said say hey guys. You got 1 point for Alexander Popov's slander. That was the beginning. 1 point for hard counter D. That was in response to his salty counter.
Okay.
That was the hard counter Dakota. 1 point for David Tier.
Okay.
1 point for Purging Games Workshop with Fire.
All right.
1 point for No Smoking PSA.
Okay.
1 point for getting written in the book again.
Okay.
1 point for the Nemesis Claw crash out.
That was a big one.
1 point for fill the box side quest.
That was a
big
one.
Yeah, at 1 point you just gave up and was filling the box. 1 point for morals over Social Security. These were great, by the way. I love these. 1 point for boldness because you flipped me off.
That was true.
1 point for Gellerpox to the moon, and then 1 point for being a ding dong.
I like
So
that.
we tied at 30.
Oh shit! Did
Nice.
you? Oh, that was
Wait.
Hey, actually,
no, 13.
Orion lost.
I scored 13. I lost 29 because I had 16 plus 13 is 29 to 30.
Oh. Yeah,
Give him the bonus point for being a good sport. Give him the bonus point for being a good sport.
No, we're gonna have a winner. So only one of you, one of you has to win. If not, I just do the next episode.
Giacomo is the leader now.
I would like to donate a point to Dakota.
Yeah, so I would like starting with our winner here. Winner speech from Giacomo.
I thank the Academy. Angels of Death are still good.
Then,
oh my gosh.
Going on to our loser. Give us a wonderful loser speech, Mr. Dakota.
Angels of Death suck. Don't play them anymore. I don't know what Giacomo's talking about. Raveners are here. Why not just play Raveners until Death Watch? That's my speech. You can check my social security later on. I can't. I did my best, everyone. I just didn't have it in me. I got half the points Giacomo did, and I just couldn't hold up the torch today. It was
you got real close.
He did.
No,
he
I
did
didn't. No, I got half. I got half your points. I just
you
got
made up for it in charisma.
I got 13 pity points. Okay.
No, those points were legit. I enjoyed every second of those points. That's why I wrote them.
That's fair. This will be, hopefully everyone who's watching this video will also enjoy my Nemesis Claw crash out, or listening to it. I'm sure that you guys don't know all of my facial reactions. I turned into the Rock if he was like having a stroke.
He's shitting out the rock while being the Rock.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. Orion, thank you for overtaking the episode. That's the wrong way. Thank you for overtaking the episode. It was a blast. We had fun, and I guess we're gonna have to see if Gellerpox can take Nova or if Aquilons will do it. Giacomo, are you going to Nova?
At this moment, it is unclear.
I'm trying to convince G to go with me so we could buy the same flights. I'm trying to.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be super great.
I need a
When
roommate.
When is Nova again?
It is the end of August. So
yeah, the last weekend of August.
Mm-hmm. It's like the 29th through the 31st, or technically I think it's the 27th through the 31st if you do all the days. But
And then for those who aren't thinking about it, come on out to Nova. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a great time. I'll be TOing the team event. But Matt Howell is the one who normally coordinates all the kill team stuff, and he is a fantastic TO. The event is run very well. I want to thank you guys for having me on and letting me have a little fun with the tier list. I hope the audience enjoyed it. Having something a little bit in the background besides just A tier, S tier, B tier.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I hope it was all right. It was a little longer, but
That's
comments. Let me know. Let me know what you thought.
Yeah. At Orion, he won't ever tell us his YouTube.
We'll find him. With enough commenting, he'll eventually have to comment, and we'll find him.
I do comment. Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find.
Yeah, so we'll find him.
Yeah,
I'm a good friend. I support friends' content.
Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Shout outs. So if you want to join the conversation, you can do so by joining the Discord, or like Orion said, you can comment below. Let us know what you think, what things are in what tiers. Tell us why the take was bad, and that's totally okay. You're allowed to have an opinion. There's nothing wrong with it, right? In fact, we encourage it, because if we're not having an open discussion, then you're just gonna let three guys over here decide the world. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, and you can't do that. Yeah, that's not how it works, there's real reasons to have a conversation. And if you want some opinions on painting, you can check out the Hobby Highlander. So you can check out which color of paints are the best. We try them out so that you don't have to, and that saves your wallet. And you can maybe decide you like a certain shade, and you can check those out. It's also on our YouTube channel here. For those listening, that is the Squad Games Entertainment YouTube channel. The link is in the description. You can find it there. We just released the Highlander Hobbies brush set, which we've been using. Comes 4 different brushes, so if you're getting a whole set right now, you can do so. And I very much enjoy it, because I helped design and pick which ones we were going to use for the whole set. For those watching, you can see it on screen now. It's also on our website. Link is in the description. If you're out here in SoCal or nearby, you can come to the MidSummer Mayhem, our birthday event, which is the 9th and 10th of August. So it's coming up real quick, and you can get your tickets. It's also in the link. I'm doing all the ads right now. I'm getting them out of the way. And of course, thank you to our audience and our Patreon members for doing what you do, because it helps us out so much. That was me.
Thank you, Orion, for being an amazing guest. As always, you always up the content and, make the shows much more enjoyable. I think our 2 favorite episodes have included you, and we've done 156 episodes. We'll have to bring you back for another, what was it? What was the name of the actual episode?
It was Wrong Answers
Wrong
Only.
Answers Only.
Oh,
yeah.
Wrong Answers
Only.
The Wrong Answers Only, for new kill team boxes. Fantastic episode. Even if you don't, even if you're new to the channel, it still holds up, unlike a lot of kill team content. Go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's all just nonsense and funny. And we did guess Raveners in that set, which was very funny as well.
Oh, amazing.
That was
amazing.
well beforehand.
Wow.
Yeah. A very, very long time ago. It was, I think, in our first season of our episodes. But also shout out to Tabletop Mayhem. She has another YouTube channel. She makes a bunch of great shorts, a bunch of awesome things. Make sure you go subscribe and comment to her. And shout out to Giacomo for always being a great co-host, and especially when I have to hit him up and be like, complain and stuff like that. He's always the rock that I can lean on, So shout out to G, and I have to figure out how I'm going to paint these striking scorpions now. Am I going to paint them blue, or am I going to paint them green? Green, I'm colorblind. That'll be a chore if I do. So last shout out. Check out LVO. We're doing a bunch of crazy stuff. We might be doing something for Thursday night, maybe doing some kind of a social for Kill Team. Maybe if we can get a bunch of content creators to come, maybe play narrative or play joint ops with your favorite content creators. If we can try and wrangle some of them in, I don't know. We're going to do something on Thursday. It's going to be awesome. We have a lot of more exciting news about a Kill Team tournament circuit that we're getting ready to announce. So stay tuned for more episodes. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe. Orion, you have any shout outs, brother?
I'm reading the disclaimer now. I'm legally required to shout out Alexander Popov. He said he will sue me and my family for everything we love and hold dear if I do not shout him out. So, yes, I love Alexander Popov. We're getting married. Shout out to Alexander Popov.
Wow.
Don't let Angel find that. Hear you
Progressive.
say that.
Orion, I want to let you know that all the best episodes are with you, and the ones with Alex are garbage. I don't even remember what they are.
I'm legally required to disagree with you, Giacomo. That's very insensitive, and you will be hearing from my future husband-in-law. Or future husband.
Dude, and Alex just left the chat, so he.
Oh my god, even better. Even better. You'll have to hear this tomorrow.
It's just David, and David says he can get behind that, and it sounds like Alex Popov that he just blackmails and threatens people. You know,
he's the one releasing our socials, by the way.
Yes. If that wasn't apparent, that is what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely despicable. Absolutely despicable.
Yeah,
All right.
absolute pleasure. Shout out to you too. Had a great time.
Yeah. Well, until next time, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Peace.
See ya.